Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the best Damn Soulbound Show with all your favorite content creators. It's episode 3, The Man Comes Around. Last week, the party actually managed to get to this sort of secluded island where these cultists were doing stuff. They haven't quite figured out what, but they did encounter essentially one of the higher-ups within their ranks. And they basically decided to kind of like go for it. Skig had this sort of head cultist with a very impressive will, mind you, unburden himself. And I'll let
With the help of the group.
yeah, with the help of the group, there was sort of this like collaborative determination test. I'll actually let the party recap this portion because I'm not certain everything he may or may not have said.
Oh, he told us. He told us the whole entire bad guys plot. You should probably just go ahead and lay it out for us, because I mean, I don't.
Should I? Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, exactly.
he also solved that problem as well and defeated him. So we're just kind of partying.
Yeah,
this
that's what it was.
This
Yeah.
week's kind of laid back.
Yeah.
Collect loot. But yeah, so like he unburdened himself. He mentioned some stuff. I guess importantly,
Specifically, he mentioned he was going to run up and summon the warden. He wanted us to promise to protect his people, and he told us a little bit about Nihilus and being in charge of the whole thing, but that Nihilus isn't here. He also told us that the purple juice we want isn't here, but the raw materials for it is.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So he goes racing up these stairs towards this, essentially this bell, which is supposed to essentially be rung in a time of like crisis, and it will like summon the cultists and such to the tower, but it will also attract the attention of the warden.
Mm.
So we were striding outside of the church at the same time to
Right.
to meet the warden.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Boldly striding.
Boldly striding.
I mean, do you know how to walk any other way?
Mm-mm. Well, especially not with the man comes around in my head. Like, all I can hear is Johnny Cash
We
now.
just leveled up, so we got a few more XP, and I put 2 points into focus for bold walking.
Good point.
Okay,
So we'll
makes sense.
be good on that one.
We make my bold walking roll hot
Bold
successes.
walking.
We're good.
Yeah.
I'm good.
It's DN6 to boldly walk, mind you.
Sure.
Shit. Okay.
Well, fortunately, I only roll 6s on my bold walk, so I'm good to go.
I've got a talent right here. Boldly go.
Mhm. Exactly.
Where no rat has gone before. Walk with the glory of Sigmar. Duh. Okay. So he makes it sort of atop the steps. He's like just banging this rope, that sort of thing. And this just cacophonous gong echoes through this valley, this sort of man and elf and dwarf made valley that's sort of like this quarry that's been excavating into this hooked shaped mountain. Like there's that sort of like moment of like pure calm and quiet, and then just a rush and a surge of people in these robes with the 11 rayed sun, just like all flocking toward the church. They just come in droves for what seems like a long while. You're kind of like looking around for anyone that might be this warden, and off in the distance you think you kind of like see something just on the tip of the end of your sort of natural sight before like buildings and obstructions, like right on, you think you see some sort of a commotion going on, maybe someone trying to make or work their way through a crowd, when you hear the Wilhelm scream behind you, and then just thud. You look back to see the priest unburdened from the plights of gravity now as well.
So he's like covering?
Huh?
Is he still alive?
No.
Okay.
No, he fell several stories down. Like, this thing is at least like at least like 12 stories.
Did something push him?
Roll your your awarenesses.
And this was the priest, as in like
Yeah.
the one that had
Yeah,
a lot
he
of
was-
determination. And
Yeah.
he was unburdened, and now he's unburdened from life itself. Yeah.
Correct.
Very unburdened.
It's what are we rolling? It's,
Awareness.
Awareness.
Against
Or awareness, sorry.
Yep. DN4. Always. Unless I
One
say
success.
otherwise.
One success.
Actual 0 successes.
No
The hunter
success.
sees nothing.
Yeah. The hunter scout sees nothing on a DN4. Yep.
He's looking the wrong direction.
Skig and Fyrgrim. Well, I mean, it's just like you're looking up, like there's probably some sun beaming and glinting off of this sort of like
Like I'm used to looking
cream-colored
down.
building.
He's looking at the wrong angle because he's so tall.
Yeah.
Right.
The
Right.
sun's in his eyes.
Yeah, exactly. Like the sun, he's a little bit closer to the sun, so the sun's in his face, you know? Meanwhile, Skig and Fyrgrim, you catch from the distance, maybe not so much a familiar face, but a familiar posture or cadence. Your minds are cast immediately back to the ship. As you just like,
Okay.
it's the you're like, you almost pick up the posture more than you pick up the face, and this is true of actual like reading folks.
Yeah, you see movement before
you see movement and stuff like that. So the face is probably, but like you're familiar with the movement. So
the elf.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Wait a minute. I know that confident stride.
I know that haughtiness. Yeah. So that happens above, and then the commotion from off in the distance as like the sort of like last wave of acolytes make it towards this tower, and you see towering about one hut high, appears to be like just a thick with 3 C's dwarf. The bottom half of him seems off. Like he's wearing armor or something, but as he gets closer, you realize that he has no lower half, and he's been essentially grafted in to this like suit of armor with his chest still exposed because a dwarf of his nature wouldn't sully his torso with armor or a breastplate. But his fists have been essentially like lopped off at the wrists to have these like weird mechanical grips on a pair of like these chain-like whips. And then just like this sort of like mechanical, almost like crab pod like legs, and you can see these little purple viscous juice tubes like coming off the sides, and he's just like, this is clearly the warden. He's got a great white beard that trails behind him.
By Grimnir.
So he's a dwarvish soul grinder, effectively.
Yeah, something like that, except way more on the Aether punk side than the like purely obviously 40k side.
Gotcha. Okay.
What monstrosity is this?
Probably
I
something
actually
that needs to be destroyed.
He hasn't quite
I
closed the
glanced
distance yet. I
actually.
mean, he's outside of what would be even a long zone at this point. When he kind of breaks your plane of sight, so basically he has about a movement to go, and then he'll be within long range. And he's like tearing it up, sort of like has this like almost clumsy like sway as he like bangs, like one leg bangs through like a wall, and like he kind of steadies himself and he comes rushing forward.
Okay. If we would have been
Go ahead.
If we would have been clever, we would have, had some defenses set up or like a trap or something, but we're not. So I guess we just sit here and wait. I have no actions other than to prep by taking the dodge action. I am ready.
All right. He gets within to earshot in a great billowing voice. You dare summon Bandon Sunderbeard, warden of the 11th Dawn. And he just like these chains like spiral out.
Get the Book of Grudges.
Get the book of Grudges. It has become aware to you passively, Skig, that you're being flanked by some other presences.
Okay, gotcha.
They're within a sort of a medium zone. So you have essentially, you kind of on purpose separated yourself from the tower. So you have like zone 1 is sort of the streets away from the tower.
Yep.
The street's right in front of the tower. Yes.
Pretty much. Yep. Then you have this sort of like flanking zone behind you, which would be your second zone, and then your third zone is sort of this zone approach, this sort of like street approach, right?
Yep. The farther down the street. So we have back behind us in the tower, that zone 2, and that's where there's presences.
Yep.
And then we have ahead of us zone 3, which is so nothing is more than a zone away at the moment. Although he's technically in like a sort of zone 4, he's going to leave.
Yeah.
Which is the
As Halo has said, that's the grudge zone.
The grudge zone.
Grudge zone.
Okay, then
Fourth zone is the grudge zone.
I do have an action I am going to take.
All right.
Okay.
Right before initiative drops. Go ahead.
Yes. I do have one action since I'm aware of them. One moment while I get the exact details.
Hey man, it pays to be a Skaven.
I am going to put up Bolster Faith.
Okay.
So I mean, I'm going to do that. So it's regardless. I'm just grabbing the exact rules for what you'll need to make when you want to enter our zone. As no one else is currently in our zone. Okay.
Can I? Go ahead.
I kick on Bolster Faith. So like, our zone is illuminated by the light of Sigmar, and now when enemies want to enter this zone, they must make a check, and I will tell you that check when you need to pass into it.
Can
Everybody
I
checks individually?
Can I fire up a rune of warding on myself?
Go ahead.
Cast Mystic Shield.
Yep. And if any of you, Linessa and Bigwinter, respectively, you can like move to the edge of your zones if you'd like to kind of intercept if you within this.
Yeah, because this is kind of like he's approaching us. It's really cool, but we can actually kind of do something.
Yeah. You're not just like frozen there. It's not like a random encounter in Final Fantasy where the screen spins and then you're just like.
Like this is. We can't do anything. Yeah.
I do say more coming in from behind, and then I put up the barrier.
Okay. I have 3 successes, so it fires off, and I have 2 additional rounds.
No, once you're in the grudge zone spigot, the grudge zone follows you. You can never leave the grudge zone. You can only be in the grudge zone.
That's right.
I'm sorry. What do you do, Fyrgrim? You got your ward.
My ward went up. Yeah.
Right on.
The Mystic Shield.
Linessa, where do you move position to?
Listening to Skig's warning, I'll move towards the back behind to see what the presence is lurking behind us.
They're not exactly trying to hide themselves, but they were just. There's a big commotion. So.
Okay.
You see a familiar face in the elf. You also see 2 of the acolytes that were with him on the ship. One of the humans, and then the other sort of quiet elf. The quiet elf. Like just tears off his hood, and you see these bloodshot, like deranged eyes with these licks of purple, like sort of flame dancing, like in his pupils, his dilated pupils, and he looks just sinewy and just way wrong for an elf. And he looks just the only way to describe him is he looks hungry.
I've seen worse.
And he's got these like 2 wicked sickles that are like made of crooked like an obsidian-like stone that's obviously harvested from local here. So.
So I don't have.
The human wields a great sword.
Okay, he uses a great sword. Yeah, I don't have like a barrier to put up or any real tactics or anything to use, so I guess I'll say something impressive instead. Like, these are those guys that we followed all the way from the boat, right?
Yep.
2 of them are most of them are missing. It's just 3 of them. So 3 of them are like 3 of them were just normal, nervous, acolytes on their first mission, and then you have like 3 devout who see an opportunity to move up the chain.
Okay.
Who are tripping balls.
Right.
Yeah, they're tripping balls.
Well, one of them is obviously tripping balls. The other 2 may or may not, to be determined whether or not they're tripping balls. But one of them is like OD tripping balls.
Oh man, you guys almost weren't gonna get killed by us. Laughing.
Are you turning then to face the 3?
Yeah, so we got a sort of like a ring in this zone anyway, kind of a ring around Squig.
Mm-hmm.
I said Squig, that's wrong. Skig, pardon me. I just
You're
did
okay.
2 videos on fucking Gloomspite, so I'm like,
Sure.
It's in the brain.
everything I see is Squigs and Geats.
I like that you put the pronunciation guide for Geats up, by the way. That was super important.
Yeah, well, I wanted people to know that it was a meme on purpose. And that oil baron, anyway.
Yeah.
So, zones.
All right, and then so essentially, Fyrgrim, you're going to be the sort of intercept for
Sure.
for Bandon Sunderbeard.
Deal.
I feel like dwarf
There's-
fight dwarf on this one, you know, like
There-
this is,
There's some grudges that need to be settled.
yeah, this is one of his peoples that's been twisted beyond recognition, so
Yes.
he needs the first cut at least.
I only say hold and let them come to us. It'll split them up.
All right, roll your dices for initiative.
Okay.
I will be rolling separately on this occasion for essentially the party, and then
Yep.
for the 3, and then for Bandon.
Sounds good. Okay.
Bandon's got a
All right.
6.
Bandon's got a 6. Got it. And the we'll call it the group.
The group has an 8.
Sounds good. All right, Fyrgrim.
7. Right in
Okay.
the middle.
Linessa.
10.
Fjormar. Fjormar. Sorry, Bigwinter. 8. Okay.
Oh yeah, 8.
And I am on an 11. Okay.
We're gonna go tie goes to player.
Yep.
For Bigwinter.
Okay.
Okay. So I am first. For this round, I will maintain the bolster faith. My action will be to take the dodge action, and I am done. It's a very simple life to be a servant of Sigmar. Linessa on a 10.
I would like to lean over to Bigwinter. Think you could toss me toward one of the pretty eyes over there?
Yeah.
I would like to prepare for a fastball special.
All right. It's gonna be an athletics on both of your parts.
Oh yeah. Speaking of that, just really quick, how does like I'm going to do something later work? Because like he goes before me, but you know,
So there's
is
like
it just kind of like it works if it's not going to ever be a problem, or are there like official?
We're gonna go with the it works if it's not gonna be a problem. The closest thing to it is something like seize the initiative. I'd imagine you're doing something like that, but in like out of sync. I am all for team combos though, so I'm just gonna say one of you spend a medal and this works.
Yeah, I mean neither of you have any enemies in between you.
You don't have any enemies in between you, so one of you spends a medal and this works, but both of you need to make an athletics. DN 5, and I'll be tracking successes.
I'll spend the medal because I'd like Linessa to spend a medal to Buzzsaw later on. So I'll be the one to spend the medal there. And yeah, we do need Chrono Trigger, like, you know, cross combos and stuff. So I approve.
It's heroic. Let's go. I already have you fighting a crab walker dwarf. Like,
I have 2 successes.
I have 3 successes out of 4 dice.
Woo!
You are whipped good.
all right. So
I'm gonna do like 3 successes. I'm curveballing, like they're not aware where he's exactly coming from. It's like wanted.
Linessa, you're going to have effectively what is that charge? The charge action.
Okay.
But you are going to gain 2 dice to your pool. On account of some rollover successes of the combo, and you're going to go up 1 step in melee.
All right.
As you're like flipping through the air with the just this is might meets grace, and it's just become murder.
Yeah, and like that's a good bonus, but it costs a medal. Seems fair.
Well, there's
Yeah.
a disadvantage to defense as well. So
Yep.
Yeah.
So your total bonuses here, Linessa, just so you're on, just so we're all on page, okay?
Mhm.
Your dice pool will have your normal extra d6 for your dual wielding, plus an additional 2d6 for the charge. So 3d6 total should be over whatever your normal dice pool is. And then your melee went up 1 step. So if it was like good, it's now great or whatever. Yep. So it's now great. And your defense went down 1 step. That's what all happened.
Perfect. Thank you.
You are the definition of a glass cannon right now.
Yes. Let's see if I shatter. What am I after against Pretty Eyes here?
You're going against the main one, Pretty Eyes. Good
Oh, the
choice.
guy with the sickles.
Oh, the guy with the sickles, Pretty Eyes. Good. Guy with sickles has good defense.
Oh, okay.
So
you're on 3.
Yeah.
That'll be 6 successes.
All right. Your damage.
It's the 0 plus S.
Okay, so 6. So your damage
6,
is. You exact seize him. Like you come down out the air with both daggers and land in his chest, plunging both into his right above his heart, right above his rib cage, right down, and you're certain one of those daggers got his heart.
Mm-hmm.
And you just kind of roll forward with the momentum, pulling your daggers up with a nice little back lighting of gushing purpley coalescing red blood. Like it's clear that
He
this
ain't pretty no more.
Dibs on those sickles, that's for sure. Yeah, I'm gonna spend some metal.
All right. You've got
Where's the greatsword guy?
the greatsword guy is basically the only other one directly in melee, because those two are kind of getting ready to charge forward, and then you have the chaos. Sorry, spoiler. The wizard, the elven wizard, standing back further.
Yeah, let's take out the greatsword. Uh, 5 this time. I'm assuming he's the same.
Yeah, same stat wise, just not as crazed.
Yep. So 5 successes here.
Okay. He's barely hanging on. You managed to get in there and kind of do a nice little twist and dance, and one blade across the gut, one across the chest, and he's kind of holding it together.
Okay. I mean, I have 2 metal. I might as well kill him.
I concur.
The swing
He's
back
standing.
will be pretty brutal, so I agree with this.
Yeah. 5 again.
Yeah, that does it. So you just kind of do one of those click 1, 2 up underneath the Riddick sort of shiv technique, and he goes down.
Perfect. Should I roll my Kraith?
You may roll your Kraith die.
Yeah. Does anybody want to roll it for me? Get in on this.
No, it's all you. It's all you. This
right.
is your thing.
No, I can't.
It is a 5. Darn it.
It's been a 5 every time.
It has. I'm gonna get a different dice for it.
Have him be able to spend a talent that makes it 5, but not 5 plus, 5 instead.
He has to declare beforehand.
For the
Yeah, he
ultimate
declares.
All right, I got a Kraith specific dice now. It's pink. We'll see how that does for us next time.
All right, perfect. Bigwinter.
All right, well, I spent my action already. Or rather, I spent my metal already, which is kind of like spending your action already. So, there's a wizard in the back, you said.
Mm-hmm. Well, the
I'm
elf.
going to... Sorry, the elf. I don't know he's a wizard. I'm going to send my vulture after the big. After...
All right.
Techno Grudge, what's this guy's name?
Techno Grudge would have been a way sweeter name. This is Bandon Sunderbeard.
Bandon, so that's good too, though. Yeah, I send my vulture to go harass, and that's my turn.
Okay.
Give Fyrgrim a combat step real quick.
That is the group.
All right, group goes, which means just the wizard. He is going to point at the huge, You see his eyes like go into this like sort of coal black sort of color. They smolder a little bit, and the huge seems to be like sort of. He just seems like almost like he's like 10% bigger or something. It's really weird. But no, he's just giving off this like this visible like heat. His tendons or his sinew is all popping in his like veins and stuff like that. He just seems kind of angry. And
He cast that on the dwarf.
Yeah.
Is that what he did?
Yeah.
Okay, got
On
it.
the big dwarf, on the already big dwarf, yes.
Yeah, he
Got it.
just buffed the dude. And then he's
Cool.
going to go ahead and spend his metal and cast a spell. He's going to give, with his eyes still smoldering, you see them turn from like this sort of coal smolder to this absolute dark void. And he's going to like stink eye one of you. I'm going to go ahead and roll basically d4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, so re-roll. 6, so re-roll. 2. Skig, you're getting the stink eye.
Okay.
He's casting a spell.
Yeah, sure. Is this a spell I can resist?
No, it does damage and ignores armor, and if it beats your highest attribute, you basically drop 2 wounds. So kind of
Okay, cool.
real bad stuff.
Sounds good.
DN 5. Only 1 success, so you only take 1 damage.
Okay. Sounds good.
Ignores armor, just 1.
Yep, I gotcha.
That's his turn.
I look at him displeased, but I also just I kind of look at him, and as I'm holding the holy symbol aloft, and like this, I imagine that like he's putting out this black energy, and so like I see this black crack appear under the thing, and I just look at it, and the holy symbol starts to glow a little brighter as I'm like starting to get angry with Sigmar's fury there. So,
Well,
yeah.
you felt essentially the opposite of Sigmar, like present.
Oh, yes.
You know, like the
Like I assume I felt the chaos tanked here, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what. Yeah.
yeah.
Awesome. Sweet as. Okay, that brings us to Fyrgrim.
I will.
If you don't want to go to him, you can choose the react action.
I will react. I will stand my ground. I will not deign to approach him. I'm not going to waste my energy.
Okay.
So when you react, you have to choose the triggering action, and then if it happens, you then do your thing. If it doesn't, you don't do your thing.
It's a ready action for D&D.
Yep.
I'm going to wait until he's within reach, and then I'm going to punch him in the face. I'm going to hit him in the face with my hammer.
All right. I'm gonna.
That's not a called shot. That's just me.
Yeah.
Being flavorful.
Flavorful.
What level is your melee at?
Mine?
Yeah.
Base, my melee is at average right now, and it goes up a step with the right. Is that how that works?
Vulture ups at a step, yeah.
Yeah, the vulture ups at a step.
All right. So I'm basically going to say you've got for him to notice that you're taking a defensive sort of stance. I'm going off of like essentially a DN3 against his passive perception.
Sure.
He doesn't seem to notice.
I'm not too concerned either way.
It means he actually charges you rather than like charges around you. So he charges you. He gets within range of you. You're like staring up at him. Not just a dwarf joke, but he's become huge due to these like crab legs and stuff.
Awesome.
He's this like techno warp abomination right now. It's crazy. And Skig, once more, you'll notice the technology is familiar but wrong from what you would be familiar with.
So it's something like Skaven technology that we're familiar with, but twisted in some way.
Twisted in some way, almost like someone like stumbled upon Skaven technology and like just started experimenting until they kind of had their own thing.
Yep. Oh, when he approaches Tom, he needs to make a check to actually enter this zone.
That's right, I do.
He's entering our zone. All right. So it's an opposed check, so it's a DN4, right? And he's making a body athletics check against my soul devotion check.
Okay. 4s?
4 is the number.
I got 4.
I also got 4. So
Unless the
what
spell
happens
unless the spell says tie always goes to players in my games.
okay, which I think is actually what happens here. I think you have to beat it to win.
Okay.
So he would just get basically blocked from entering the zone. So sorry, Tom. I think I just stole your action. But
He just like he runs into this like Sigmarite fort and just like sort of twists and writhes away. He seems real pissed. I think we have a new initiative now.
he
What?
could always try to hold on.
You're too scared.
He could always try to move again, right? Like because he has his like he could try to.
Can he shoot stuff in? Because I think he would.
He can shoot stuff in.
All right,
yes,
he's gonna shoot. He's just gonna like shoot off his like one of his knees like opens up and it just kind of shoots this like harpoon looking thing. Sorry. Yeah, you're forward. I'm sorry, Fyrgrim, but you're the target. Your defense is
Sure. It is extraordinary right now.
extraordinary. All right, top of the ladder. So he needs 5s. A piddly a mere 1 success, and you have armor, so
I do.
So it like essentially glances off the armor. It doesn't deal any damage, so it doesn't like hook in or anything.
It bounces off. To be clear, it bounces off of my skin.
Your skin. That's correct. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's yeah, just like seeing like you do that like the Terry Crews like pectoral flex, and it just like glances.
Yep, that's exactly right.
All right, so go ahead and refresh initiative.
Yep. All right. Here we go.
Is that all you got?
Chaos Sork is rocking a 9.
Okay.
The Bandon is on a 6.
It's good. Fyrgrim.
7 again.
Linessa.
6.
Fjormar.
7.
And then I am on a 10. Okay. So it's me and then the elf. Since there's nobody else, like there's no others threatening to charge us at the moment, right?
No, it's you essentially have Bandon and you have this chaos revealed to be sort of some sort of a chaos caster.
Gotcha. Okay. Then I will let the zone of Sigmar's power drop. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see. Linessa's in the other zone, and I assume Bigwinter is going to the other zone where the Chaos Sork is.
Well, he's currently in the same zone as you, so.
Yeah, currently I'm there. I haven't decided what I'll do.
Right. At the moment, you're with me, but Linessa and the Chaos Sorcerer are in the same zone right now, right? They're in zone 2. Yep. Okay. So that's fine. I'll figure that she's just going to turn that guy into cheese. So,
The rat with a cheese pun.
mm-hmm. I'll heal everybody in this zone. I think I'm the only one injured, so I heal my damage. Yep, I healed my damage. And like that wound just closes up, and then I just look at him.
You did it just to style on him.
Yes, I look at him and smile and point at the witch elf, and then at him.
He like looks over at the witch elf. What is Linessa like? What's Linessa's posture, having just like slain his 2 bodyguards essentially?
A cat who is just bathed in the blood of her enemies.
Just like, all right.
I'm pounce. I'm ready to go. There's another mouse. Gotta get it.
And then I will spend a medal and take the dodge action. I'm done.
Cool.
That is Chaos Sorcerer guy.
All right. He is going to go ahead and stoke the blood rage within Bandon once more. He's going to meddle again, and he's going to go ahead and give the stink eye. Whoosh! to you, Linessa. What is your highest attribute?
You mean body, mind, or soul?
Yep.
3.
Okay.
Body or soul.
All right. So you take 2 damage. Armor doesn't matter, but you are not instantly like 2 wounds and it gets bad. So
Okay. So take directly to wounds.
No.
It's still just tough.
No.
If he
Sorry.
beats your highest attribute, he's essentially trying to turn you into ash.
Oh.
And then he's going to try to run away from Linessa, but there's like bodies in between him, like of these like the crowd trying to get inside the church or the temple. So he's moving away.
Sounds good. He done?
Yep.
Technically, both Fyrgrim and Bigwinter are on the 7, so you guys can decide.
Bigwinter.
Now, yeah, you got this, Fyrgrim. The debuff's still up, so.
Cool. Well, I will burn my metal for a stoke rage. Get all nice and hot and bothered. Let's see how that goes. Where did it go? I just had it open here. Let's see. Whew. There it is. I'll shift that dice and have my successes. I was a little too close for comfort. But that fires off. And then I will hit him in the face with a hammer.
Okay.
Sorry. Trying to find my spells real quick here.
So this is what, good versus...
His armor is superb. Currently.
Of course it is.
Well, he's a robot who's also a dwarf, so I mean, fair enough.
That's fine. We're going to hit him. I think I'm at +2 damage because of this.
Sorry, he has been stoked by the Sork. He is at extraordinary currently. He's all the way at the top of the chain.
For defense?
Yes.
Okay, so that means I hit on 5s or 6s?
6s, assuming you're not superior or superb, sorry.
Nope. Here we go. Oh, got 1. Oh wait, got 2. Sorry, because I can shift that because of focus. So I got 2. And where did my spells go? Solar flare. Where is fire?
Why can I not? Spells. You're looking for Stoke Rage. You reach into the hearts, blah, blah, blah. All allies in the zone when you cast a spell deal +2 damage and are immune to being frightened until the start of your next turn. Any frightened allies remove the condition.
No, that's not what I'm doing.
By 1 round.
Sorry. That wasn't the one I did. Where did it go?
Stoke the Flame?
Sorry, incandescent form. There it is. That's what I did. So I'm actually on a... Okay, that doesn't change my damage. Okay, so 2 successes, 3 total. 3 is what my total was. Right. I don't know what his armor is, but...
Yep. So you go up and you go to like hammer into him, and you kind of like glance off of one of these like crab legs, but then you kind of keep the momentum through and like catch him right in the abdomen. You feel like you punched into something meaty.
Ugh. Darned abomination.
He might need your help. I turn to Bigwinter.
I look at the Chaos Sorcerer, and then I look at Linessa.
I'm fine.
And then I quietly say a prayer. Pour one out for the poor sorcerer. It's over for him. Just immediately like leap at the dwarf robot.
You pour out a 40 of Aqua Gyranus, you know, like
I pour out a wine skin. Actually, no, not a water skin because those are too expensive.
Way too valuable.
A glass bottle.
All right.
Yeah, I'm going up. I'm using I might be using the charge action. What does that do again?
Plus 1d6 to your dice pool, but your defense drops by 1.
Oh, yeah. I mean, fuck defense. I mean, I'm like jumping at this guy and shouting "Pledge allegiance to the huge" as I like attack him with my pike.
Checks out.
Does that sound like a person who cares about defense? So I'm on whatever's above good, superior, I think.
Great is above good.
Great. I'm on great. So what do I need?
Against his currently extraordinary, he'd be 2 steps up. So you're talking
Still 6s.
Still 6s? Okay.
Yeah.
So 4, 5, 6, making it 2 successes. And am I getting that damage bonus thing from Fyrgrim, or did he use some other?
No, that's not a damage bonus. It was the defense one. I misquoted what it was. I use incandescent form, not burning rage.
Okay, in which case I got 2 6s, which means I'm piercing 2 armor,
All right,
and I'm doing 4 damage total.
So you ignore his armor entirely and punch straight into right into his meat, right into the.
Oh yeah.
Very
He's
nice.
technically knocked down too. I forgot about that. But
Does it say anything about size or?
It's a great question.
We're gonna go with. I mean, he just.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Okay.
He's big. He's really big.
Yeah, he's really big, and he's got crabby legs. Like,
yeah.
He might just on his character sheet happen to have can't be knocked down right now. So.
Sure.
All right.
You good, Bigwinter?
Metal do it again.
There you go. That's what I was wondering.
Man, I thought you guys were gonna have to burn some soul fire this fight, but.
What was that?
I said I thought y'all were gonna have to burn some soul fire this fight, but I'm disappointed.
I'm burning metal. I'm consistently using metal. So my charge bonus wore off, so it's just 6 dice now. I don't know why I held the button down so you could hear the annoying dice sound. Sorry about that.
We like to hear the roll.
No, we
4,
want to
5,
hear the
6.
roll. That's part of that sweetness I need.
I'm rolling on my dice or my mouse pad, so it's not too loud. This is 3 successes, and it's 3 6s, so it pierces 3, and it's 5 damage total.
You pierce 3? Alright.
Yeah, pierce 3 armor.
You managed to, like, catch him, like, right in the guts, and, like, he's bleeding profusely. Once more, it's this sort of, this mix, this almost, like, swirling of, like, this purple and red, and as the red blood spills onto the sand in front of you, the purple seems to evaporate out of the blood, and you just have this, this sort of quickly drying crimson.
Okay.
Say it. Yes, Bigwinter actually expects him to pledge allegiance.
To the huge?
To the huge, yes.
He says, "Never! I am the huge!"
That's that. That's him. He gets to prove himself.
Alright, hang on one second. Alright, he's gonna go ahead and, like, try to whip both of you, with these, like, 2 weird, like, barbed chain, like, whip style things.
Cool.
He will be splitting his dice pool for this.
Okay.
All right, my defense is normally good, but I did charge, so I'm at average.
Alright.
Okay, so I'm as I was. I'm still what's the top, superior?
Extraordinary.
Or extraordinary. But because of the spell that went off, he is my incandescent form. He is considered 1 lower for attacks against me.
Alright, so he needs 5s against you. And what was your defense? I'm just gonna roll it for those 5s real quick.
Mine's average right now on account of charge.
So what? He's on 2s against you because you can never go to 1s.
It sounds right.
Okay.
Can it go to 1s? Probably not in this game, right?
Well, like I think 1s are automatic failures.
Automatic failures, all right.
6s are automatic successes. They poured over. I get why they did dice pools for this game. I truly do. And that's why I jettisoned my hatred of dice pools out of my criticism for Soulbound. And it's a me thing. I've said it on all my reviews. It's a me thing. It's not a them thing. I just don't like them. I'm sorry, Bigwinter. But this sort of like marrow grinding, like chainsaw whippy thing just wraps around your entire body. You are not small enough to be automatically restrained, however. So it just like slides off your skin and tears back, inflicting 7 damage.
Not bad.
To you, on the other hand, he does a measly 3.
It bounces off.
Okay, yeah.
Incandescent.
Oh wait, I have
My-
armor. Hold on, I don't take 7. I take 5.
My skin is lava right now, and so
His skin is lava.
so I mean that's what it is.
Yeah,
It's kind of like my mom.
No, I get
And
it.
so yeah, so I
Yeah,
have a
just
4 armor. Right
Sparks just fly as this whip tries to wrap around you. Just like just makes this buzzsaw noise, and just sparks fly everywhere.
Gonna take more than that.
I think we refreshing?
I believe.
Oh
that's
no, he's
refreshing.
gonna metal. Fuck this. He hits both of you again.
Okay.
I think Linessa still has to
Yeah,
launch out.
yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yes, Linessa.
Yeah,
still
Linessa
her
has to go.
turn,
He's gonna metal real quick though. So
Yep.
same thing
Sorry,
again.
Linessa.
I love that you just assumed how dead this sorcerer is.
Bigwinter, same thing. 7 damage again. But you are not restrained.
Okay.
And it'll be 4 damage against you this time.
Still not doing anything. So
Like you can tell who the tank of this party is.
so
Takes 10 damage, takes 0.
So as an aside, he is. I don't know what his normal. If his when his normal attack was on me, he was on 5s. Technically, he should be 1 step lower on his attacks, and I'm still the same max.
He's
So
at superb, so he would be
Okay.
down to. Then he would be, or sorry, he's at extraordinary right now because of the buff from the Sork. So he drops
Got it.
down to superb against you, and you are extraordinary, right?
Yep.
So he's on
Yep.
5s.
Yep. Okay.
So did it correctly.
And that was like you said he was at extraordinary.
Yes. So he steps
Okay.
down to superb against you.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I feel like extraordinary should be below superb as well. So like it flips my brain when I'm doing the math.
Yep.
All right, let's.
Linessa.
sorry. Yeah, let's watch Linessa make some Chaos Sorcerer Lord soup.
Linessa sensing that it is the perfect time to truly praise Kane. There's a crowd around. I'm assuming that people are still nearby. They can see what's going on.
They're rushing into the like a few of their heads are turned back because they hear the chaos and the violence. But like they're trying to get into the church. Their protocols have kicked in, right? They're brainwashed, so they're just doing the thing that they're supposed to do when they hear the bell.
With the battlefield properly drenched in blood, and this being the next sacrifice, I'd like to perform entertainment as I slay this chaos sorcerer. Dancing, twirls, a few nicks and cuts before finally driving the blade home through his throat.
Okay, so to actually make a real performance of it, that would be essentially your action, and then the metal would be the attacks.
I can do that.
Okay.
So I assume you want to entertain first?
Yeah, I want the entertain, so you're actually making a real show of this. If you want to truly go ham on this. Now, this will be a DN5.
Okay.
On account of it being like mid-combat and you're trying to like sway some program people.
2 out of 4 successes on that.
2 of them seem to be all about that cane life right now.
Yes. We'll get him. And I'll spend that medal.
Okay.
Sorry. Where's he at right now? Because I am superb.
He's got good.
Okay. So that'll be 5 successes.
Yeah, you're on 2s.
Yeah.
All right. All right. He seems fine, actually. Like, I mean, you managed to, like, punch one of your daggers up under what must be a breastplate underneath his robe, but the other one seems to, like, kind of, like, glance off.
All right. Let's see if
Kraith.
Yes.
Kraith.
3. This dice is worse.
It's all right. We'll get there.
We'll get there eventually.
All right. Refresh.
Refresh initiative.
All right.
The huge is on a 6 once again. Dude drops to a 7 this time.
Fyrgrim.
Only 6.
Linessa.
7.
Bigwinter.
7.
Okay. Very tight pack. It's a tight pack, boys. All right. I'm on a 9. How much are you down, Bigwinter?
I've taken 10 damage.
Okay, but you're still standing, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
His bigness.
Figured you were fine. Sure.
His bigness cannot go understated.
No, perfectly fine. Very good. I will heal. So I will call upon the power of Sigmar and flood the zone with a holy light to restore Bigwinter's wounds. Oh, the power is strong with this one. I'll burn a medal and heal you for 8 on 1 heal. That was 5 successes on 5 dice. That was like 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 6. That was the hard roll on the dice.
Unlimited power.
That's right.
You like hold forward this. Well, I'll let you do the flavor text since you seem to have a nose for it.
Yes, I hold up the holy symbol and it just glows white hot as like my hand actually starts to smell a little bit of singed fur of like Skaven fur burning, and the wounds just immediately cauterize and heal with the holy fire of Sigmar's light. All the chain cuts and slices closing up. My heals do leave minor scarring, so you look like a badass, as would be appropriate for a barbarian god.
I didn't want to be like cheated out of anything with your healing.
No,
So
I follow a barbarian god. Yeah, we want you to look cool.
Because the coolest scars are always X's. You know, have like a wicked X-shaped scar like across your like ogre gut.
Cool.
I will then I'll then spend my other medal. I haven't actually had a 2 medal round yet. And I will I'll heal again.
Okay.
There you go. Another 4.
All right, we at full.
All right.
Sorry, my dice fell.
Nope.
Okay. That's me. Cool. Brings us to, well, let's see. Let's do it like this. Linessa.
Like a 3-way tie for 7?
Yeah, so we'll do
Linessa
Linessa
first.
since she's on her own, yeah.
I would like to try and once again, with the entertainment going okay, but a lack of damage going through, I am most upset and wish to fully unleash upon this fool.
Okay. You don't want to try to get more converts in the heat of combat?
I'm gonna try and stab this guy first. I got metal. We'll see. But that will be 6 successes here.
Okay. All right. You haven't quite like got that sweet vitae to flow yet. No blood is poured out for it. You're punching through the breastplate though. You feel you just kind of like barely like clipping into his meat, or like you you know, like you haven't gotten any of the squishy bits yet.
I would like to try and spend my metal, and for my action, I'd like to intimidate him to see if I can get him to run away or drop to his knees in fear.
Well, let me check the scope of intimidate in combat because it might not be.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Quite like that. I mean, he seems pretty unshook, even though the fight's not going his way. You're fairly certain intimidating him would mostly just be, like, for effect. It wouldn't really... I should say for affect. It wouldn't really...
Okay.
You're fairly certain, like, I mean, you might have him dead to rights, but he just, like, staring at his eyes, he is the same... You're met with this just steel haughtiness that is unwavering. As if possessed by just some sinister urge to just destroy.
You know what I've heard is very intimidating? Holding someone's
him.
esophagus in your hand.
It checks out.
Well, I'm gonna go for a different tact with my metal. I would like to called shot
Okay.
for his groin.
There we go.
All right, groin's not
Right
on the
for
list,
it.
but I assume it'll do the same thing as a head, so go ahead.
That
Yeah.
tracks.
It is ahead.
What does it make it go up to?
I think
So you're...
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay. So your melee goes down one step, and if you're successful, you're going to stun him. Or sorry, it's not the other. I'm sorry, it's the other way around. His defense increases 2 steps. I'm sorry, the head is the special one. So, like, what is his defense right now?
He is good.
And
So he
your
goes up.
offense is...
I'm superb right now.
Okay, so he'd be on par with you. So you move yourself to 4s.
Okay.
Okay. So, but then if the attack deals damage, he's stunned until his next turn.
4.
That'll get through his armor and actually deal damage.
All right. Hey, let's get some Kraith going.
Which means he is officially stunned.
No Kraith?
No Kraith. Opposite.
Yep. So he can take either an action or a move, but not both. He
And
cannot
can't
spend metal. Yeah, very important. His speed becomes slow, and also his defense does decrease 1 step in case anybody else attacks him, but it probably won't be relevant. Okay. Cool.
All right. You finally see that sweet red reward, by the way, pouring out onto his robes and staining and spreading out like an ink blot on a tapestry.
That brings us to Mr. Bigwinter.
All right, this...
By the way, the huge, you notice as the blood hits the air, like he just like inhales the scent and is like a shark. His eyes just become all, like completely dilated, and he just like looks even more enraged.
How much more juiced can one man be?
He's more juice than man now.
Yeah.
+1 XP. I appreciate good puns, but I love bad puns even more.
Sure.
Who's up? Bigwinter.
Yes.
All right, well, let's soften him up a little bit. All right, I'm on good. Is he back to, like, superb?
He did not.
Because he just got juiced up. Like, am I still on 6s?
No, you're actually on 5s right now. He hasn't caught the Sork's buff.
Oh, because, yeah, bro got stunned. Got it. Cool. So, he's on great?
He was on superb. He's on great, yeah.
Cool, so I'm on 5s then. Okay, I got 6644. I'm spending 2 to make, or sorry, 6655, and I'm spending 2 to make the 5 6s. So I have 4, and it pierces 4, and it's 6 damage.
You plunge your pike sort of deep up on under his ribs, and he's just like, grrr, like he's barely seems to be holding his heft together atop your spear. Like one of the hoses has burst off of his back at this point and is just spraying this ichor that just becomes a vapor into the air.
Don't breathe it.
Yeah, I perform proper don't breathe the gas.
Social
and
distance.
I'm gonna send the vulture after sorcerer.
Okay.
The big guy's still alive, right? That's correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just
Cool.
barely holding on.
Just barely holding on. Cool.
It just wouldn't be right if the dwarf didn't finish the job.
Sure.
Well, I probably won't, but we'll give it the good college try.
We believe in you. But that is the Chaos Sorcerer Lord up next.
All right. He is stunned, so he can take either an action or a move, and he can't spend metal, which really kind of cramps a buff wizard style. Linessa, it's just kill or be killed at this point. Linessa, he's gonna cast his void gaze at you.
All right.
His eyes go jet black. 2 damage. And it doesn't beat your sweet highest attribute score, so it has a chance to, and when it does, it just gets sick.
Can Skig heal Ash?
What it is like you can almost imagine like you lock eyes with him, and then there's just like sort of blackness spreads out in your veins from like your eyes and backwards along your like forehead, and and just you can just feel this agonizing pain pumped through your bloodstream and through your heart as it spreads out from where you like have locked eyes, and it's just this agony at this almost soul level.
All right. So he doesn't have a medal, right? So he's done.
Yeah, he can't spend it. So he's
Fyrgrim.
because stun.
Right. Because stun is good. Way to ring his bell, Linessa. That was a good play.
Woo-hoo. So, how bad did this guy look?
Huge. The huge.
Yeah.
He's
the warden.
He's got like 2 hoses. One of them's popped off his back at this point, and he is just pouring blood into the ground. He's rage and whatever this stuff is. Like you could chop off one of his arms and he'd keep moving, but he is pouring out a lot of blood at this point.
Awesome. Let's do this. What has his defense been?
It was superb. It has since dropped down to great.
His defense is great, and so I will need to shoot to extraordinary in order to see. I am.
You're still at the +1 because apparently the debuff simply lasts for the duration of combat. It doesn't matter if the vulture goes somewhere else. So.
Yep. Okay. So good. So I would have to go. Sure. I'll trade 3. I'll battle rage. Trade 3 defensive steps for 3 offensive steps and jump up to extraordinary.
Yeah!
I love that you can do this.
Let's go.
So his defense right now is great. You said.
Yep.
So I'm on 4s, 3s, 2s. There we go. On the first one, 4 damage.
Okay. You clink into some armor, but you catch some. You clink into some armor, but you catch some meat too.
And then I'm sorry, 5 damage. I forgot I had focus 1.
Okay.
And then I'll do it again. 5 more damage.
All right. With that blow, you essentially you knock one of his legs to the side with the first blow, and then you just like climb up it, and then just plunge your hammer into his chest, and he just folds backwards like he's trying to become the like some sort of yoga king, and just like his whole body's contorted and his limbs are stuck in their rigid, motionless, last set form. As you just drive him into the ground.
Excellent.
Excellent. All right, that brings us to his turn, which he spends bleeding, gurgling, and dying. So, fantastic. That brings us to re-rack the Inish with the Chaos Orc Lord.
Wait! He's saying, trying to drop to his knees as he rolls for initiative.
Now he wants to talk.
Well, I suppose is he like voluntarily stopping combat or something?
He gets
or
an 8 on initiative, but he's just saying,
Okay.
wait. You can roll for initiative. It's always on the party. You guys have
Sure.
the supreme agency.
Fyrgrim.
6. Sorry.
Folded like a lawn chair, says Professor Xavier.
Mm-hmm. What'd you say? 6, Fyrgrim?
Yes.
Linessa?
8.
Okay, well, I think I know what the answer to a surrender is then. Bigwinter?
I got a 5, so
Okay.
he's gonna meet those gods he worships.
I'm on a 10. I will move into Linessa's zone. And Linessa, you are injured, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
How much are you down?
3 right now? Or no, 4, sorry.
4? Okay.
I want you all to know
I'll-
that was going to be the term I popped the Skaven. So just so you know. You healing is anathema to what he wanted, which was blood.
Sure. I walk into the zone and I just bring the light with me and like illuminate this bastion of heresy as it flares. I heal Linessa for 5. And I say, you have fallen into heresy. There is nothing for you but judgment, which I will leave to her to dispatch. And then that's me.
That's like the most hardcore Punisher line ever.
And then just
Linessa.
casually turns his back on his opponent and strolls away with his little Skaven robe.
Mm-hmm.
Feeling refreshed, Linessa looks down at this groveling fool.
Oh, he's kind of like doubled over because he just got hit in the groin.
Oh, well, groveling, pain, whatever. Maybe I won't kill you, but those eyes have to go. I would like to stab out his eyes.
So, this is like the headshot again, except it's going to go yet one more step higher because slightly smaller target, right? So it's the eyes.
Sure. 3.
Like 3 successes?
3 successes, sorry.
You get them eyes. Well, you get one of them anyway.
Okay. I'd like to spend metal.
Well, no, I mean he's out of wounds at 1, which is what you like. You get the eyes and like, God, like they're just like he just goes down. You go full Hellraiser on him. He's just.
I was just.
No.
Yeah, I was cutting his eyes out. I wasn't killing him.
I thought maybe you were trying to not kill him.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I was trying to cut out his eyes.
Oh, you're not trying to kill him.
Yeah.
You stab
I have metal.
his
If I want
eyes
to kill
out.
him, I still got a chance.
Okay. Well, you stab his eyes out, and deign to leave hhim living. So like you feel like you have enough force to like get all the way through to the squishy parts, the brain, and you just like you're becoming a seasoned murderer at this point. So you just like ease up a little bit, and instead he drops to the ground, clutching his eyes, and then slowly blacks out from shock because he's at 0 wounds, and you just deigned not to kill him. So he's pretty much comatose right now.
I'll spend a metal to ready a reaction. If anyone else in the group says kill, I kill him.
I say kill him. Immediately.
Really?
If I see you hesitating, yeah, this is guy's like, yes, This dude is a chaos sorcerer. He is tainted with chaos
Yep.
power. Skig does not have mercy for these guys.
there's room for conversion and redemption, but there's a line you cross, and it's being a chaos sorcerer.
Right.
See, here's the reason why I wait for the reaction of someone to say kill. I want the bloodlust of Cain to pass along to all of the party. So, which one of you is going to help worship Cain here?
I absolutely say kill. Like, assuming I can talk out of turn. Like, I absolutely say kill.
Do it. I can hear like the Emperor.
Yeah.
Drag him down.
Yeah, you just Skaven basically, or Skig essentially like, says the line. This is chaos.
Finish him.
Yeah, there you go.
I will finish him. I will stab the blade down across the top of his head, straight through his skull, out the bottom of his jaw.
All right.
Such is justice. He killed a converted brother, one who had come back and found the light. And I walk over back out to the body of the brother who had been the leader of the place. And I look over him. I take my holy symbol, and like I assume in the fall he kind of like he bled some, right?
Yeah, he crumpled out, and he's like, there's like a small little like Escher painting spiraling out with his blood.
I roll him over, put him together, like put his hands together, and then I take some of his own blood, and with the tip of like my paw with my sharp middle claw finger, I take the blood and I draw the twin-tailed comet on the center of his forehead. And I give him like the appropriate final rites of a follower of Sigmar, of someone who died in sacrifice.
Go ahead and roll a devotion. You have this like small audience at this point of these converts, these acolytes who have been like drawn to the bell, and they obviously in like a heinous commotion, and they see you grab their most venerated amongst them and essentially perform some last rites. What do you get?
So assuming I'm aiming at 4, I got 4 successes.
They begin whispering amongst themselves as they witness this. Many seem you can stare at their eyes and there's nobody home. Like they're just glazed over, glossed out. But like this inner ring, all like, will he go to Sigmar? Does he return? Does he go to Sigmar now? Does he go to Shyish? Does he what awaits?
I stand up and I see they're kind of confused.
Yeah, they're all confused and they're all like wondering what happens now that you've performed these last rites, and they're you see like in a few of them you've sort of sparked this like primal fear of mortality, right? It's resonated with them. Whatever they were escaping, for whatever reason they came to this cult, you've struck a chord with this sort of this inner ring, this group here.
Mm-hmm. I stand up and hold the holy symbol aloft, and I say, "This one found his faith. This one died a hero, a martyr, a believer in something righteous. These wrecked bodies that you see around you, these shriveled, broken, worthless corpses, this is what lies at the end of the road of heresy on which you trod. But this, a hero's death, your soul returned to the bosom of Sigmar. That is what can await you if you too seek after redemption. Believe not in this nonsense, in this empty promises, this path of recklessness and hedonism that you have followed here, and instead choose a path that is righteous. Choose Sigmar. That's my speech to them.
Did you intentionally put the reverb, or was I hearing that from Tom's as well?
Yeah.
I think you're hearing it from Matt.
Because it's
Reverb.
like
Power of Sigmar.
That was the power of Sigmar coming
It's like
through.
preaching. Yeah.
That was the power of Sigmar. You see like a disharmony sort of like echo between like all of them now. It started at that like core group, and then the rest are. But we were told all gods have betrayed and left us. That the only god is thyself.
I'll walk forward towards them. Okay.
Got told wrong.
And I come forth and I hold, like, I have the holy symbol in my hand. Okay. Like, whoever said that, I walk up to them. It's still like white hot from everything that's been put through it in the past few minutes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I hold it to him, and I extend it to say, put your hand on this, like, is what I'm doing. Like, I'm holding it out to his hand.
Hesitantly.
Okay. He touches it, I assume, and feels the heat, right? Because it's not going to burn him, but it's hot.
He feels it, and like he pulls away a bit, but like it's not, like he keeps his hand like kind of hovering. It's
this
so warm.
Is not empty. This is power. What you were told, empty. It is told to you by those who seek nothing more than their own glorification, their own power. They tell you to look inside yourself and believe in nothing. Power, real power, comes from service to those that are greater, to those that find you worthy. When you look in yourself, all you must find is that worthiness. To stop it yourself is folly. To prove yourself by being something greater, by being worthy of Sigmar. That is faith. That is power. Do you think this, and I point down at the crumpled body of the Sorcerer Lord, he looked only in himself? How did that end for him?
I would like to point out, not to take away from what you're doing, Vince, but I would be carving the heart out of the sorcerer's and bathing in the blood.
So much better.
Not trying to convert. I don't want to take away from anything that you're doing, but like I would
that
just
only
be drenched in
accentuates
it.
my point. I love it.
Okay,
I pointed that at you performing this ritual of Cain, right? Another god, and I say,
This is what awaits you. This is the road.
Does this seem the end of a good road? And then I look at us.
Like a crazy lady cutting his heart out.
Like with like the huge Bowie hair, you know, just like fly,
Yeah.
like like kind of like
hand above me.
God, like they're just like a hush works over the crowd. And I like it's kind of like a it's a speech, but I'm gonna have you use your devotion again because this has very much been a very spiritual event, I think. So go ahead and roll that again.
Sure.
DN5 this time.
Okay. Sounds good. That would be 3 successes.
All right. Exactsies. The whole crowd like starts murmuring amongst themselves, and you see the first one come up and tear the patch off of his like ragged robes and throw it on the corpse of the Chaos Sorcerer.
Nice.
And then like that sort of first inner circle that you had the attention from are very quick to follow, you know, and they just like line up tearing this patch off of their almost canvas, their burlap sort of robes. They didn't have the ostentatious ones, the gossamer ones the others had, and just tearing them off and throwing them on. And then there's sort of a pause before the rest of the crowd just starts doing this. And then like eventually you have this great movement within this entire sort of micro village, this quarry, that have essentially renounced this freaking cult.
Excellent.
New outpost for Anvil Guard?
And we're going to go ahead and take our Act 1 break and use the restroom if you need to, grab some beverages, and we'll be right back, everybody.
Sounds good. I am going to refresh my beverage.
Mm-hmm.
I also like so that I saw the comments were mentioned that this is 3 for 3 on the Skig rants.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we have 100%
Yeah.
Skig speeches. Oh, preaching. Really.
Skig is nailing it.
Also, side
episode.
story, it's going to be every episode. Like, if there's a chance to talk to somebody. This is Skig's thing. If you didn't notice, I don't swing a weapon if I don't have to.
I unintentionally went with, like, the cult angle because I'm weaving some stuff here, right?
Yeah, no.
And you're pulling in some classic tropes of, like, Warhammer. You're pulling in some stuff from pop culture I love. My base meta plot. Like, it's a logical start. And I took my notes early on with what I wanted to do, but then the party, like, filled in that, and then that certainly pulls you. You leave a lot of blank space in your, like, bullet points when you're mapping out a campaign. And then when a Skaven acolyte of Sigmar comes in, you gotta, like, you gotta lean into that.
He's basically like a healer / proselytizer class, you know. And so when he butts heads with a cult, he's going to try to convert him.
That's right. Get over to the side of truth. I'll be right back. I'm going to get him a drink.
All right, everybody. Intermission. We'll be right back.
All right.
How's it going, everybody? Oh man, I am loving Soulbound so far. How about you, Chuck?
Oh yeah, this is great. It's fun. I think this group really balances each other well in a lot of ways.
Yeah. I like the last adventure where we had, like, a combat below deck, and then we had your sort of, like, dialogue boss fight above deck. I really enjoyed that. I thought that was a really cool showcase of, like, a really good contrast too, because you're, like, a very combat heavy character, right? Like, you just deal the damage and you murder the folk. You're essentially like the AoE, like, ads clearer, you know, like in an MMO where you're like, kill the ads, like, that's you, like, 100%. You just.
But yeah, like when you describe that dwarf monstrosity coming through, my mind is immediately already like, nope, not me. What's and you're like sensing something behind you. I got this. I got that part. I'm going over here. Like,
yeah.
It's like I know where my role sits with it. It feels it's satisfying, but it also makes it more scary if I have to go up against a big thing. It's like, ugh.
Right, and that, I mean, I split the damage between, like, the two tanks essentially because he's dueling the chains, right? I mean, if I fully focus on, like, one or the other, you're talking like a double damage output on anybody in the party. It's very much in his thing to just be whipping these chains around because he's not in control, and But it's like this damage in the combat of Age of Sigmar is so high versus the survivability, and that goes both ways. So you need to have that strategic party comp to take advantage of the zones, and like and there's not really like a taunt ability, nor should there ever be. By the way, I hate that, like having an MMO taunt button. I hate that in games where enemies are intelligent and stuff. I don't like that.
Yeah, I mean, as the GM, I just don't tend to attack random squishies for no reason unless there's like some overwhelming reason to do so. When a giant guy with a big hammer is standing right out front, the warrior is going to come attack them. Like it's, you don't need it doesn't need to be more clever than that.
Right, and that's what you kind of saw going on here. The party did the basic stuff, right? They lined up the tanks, and they went and they engaged him on two flanks essentially. And he's looking over at the squishy guy, and he started to get angry once he started to like overheal because he's trying to like get this blood, and he never got it, and until his ally was the one wounded. And so you had this like that stuff going on, and I'm just saying, like, I like Soulbound's combat. D&D can feel like a real slog, especially once you get into higher levels, which I don't mind because I like the math of it. But what I like about this is that punchy, very cinematic kind of combat. So welcome back, everybody. So yeah, you have this like essentially you've reclaimed this entire sort of branch of this cult at this point. It's this grand sort of gesture of tearing off this 11 raid sun and throwing it onto like the corpse of this chaos sorcerer goes on for a while. It's probably I'd imagine that Skink is giving like sort of like basic, like he has various like groups and individuals coming up to him asking him about Sigmar over this period of time, and he's really just sort of like doing the like perfect Sigmar like representative thing and giving them basic advice, and I guess how would we're going to do the zoomed out view because this would be really granular. You've got about 100 people that come up to you over the course of this whole thing, all asking various advice. What does Skig do? How does he direct them forward? And obviously, you have like a whole other day to go before your ship arrives.
Yeah, I mean, seeing as how they're newly in the faith, Skig is going to spend the next day, just working with them, right? Like explaining the faith as he understands it. and which is a really key important part, right? But Skig encourages them that like it's best to probably leave this island because whoever this nihilist person is, he's dangerous, and we will go and deal with him. But for them, I asked them to tell us to show us where the mine stuff is and all that kind of thing, so we can understand what's going on here. But for the most part, I'm going to let other people deal with that plot relevant stuff. Okay?
Because you're intending
So while he's doing all that, I'm going to actually I'm going to explore the teched up weird mutated dwarf.
Perfect.
And try to understand what's going on there. I picked up Sense Urgold, and so I'm going to try to understand and see if this guy is teched up with any aspect of like Caradron mixed Urgold tech as well.
Yeah.
Because we saw some Urgold stuff before.
Yeah. Okay. I'm pin it real quick. What are Bigwinter and Linessa doing? Linessa, are you trying to? We're talking like a. I got the big picture full frame, but in the amount of time for him to inspect this weird dwarf, what do you two do? Do you assist? Do you listen to some of Skig's sort of like mini sermons?
Is there any children around?
No.
Okay.
Decidedly not. Everyone is
able-bodied above.
Specifically able-bodied. They were sent here for a purpose. This was as was evident to you on the boat from your basic interactions, is like this was like kind of like the level up quest once you made it past the like the recruitment phase of the cult, right?
Okay.
You had to prove yourself back in Anvilgard, and then you got sent to the island.
As much as I'd love to convert people to Cain, I think Skig's doing a great job, and I'm not going to step on. I know the people are following him, so I'm just going to.
Oh no, you've got
just
four.
gonna
You've
kind of
got specifically 4 of them
Oh, I got
following
4?
you around everywhere you go, watching everything you do right now.
Oh,
Like
Okay.
specifically 4. Like it's
Are any of those?
they're
are any of
all
those
elves
people-
because they would have just you had a natural like sort of magnetism to like elven kind, right? So it's just these 4 elves, 2 men, 2 women, all of relatively. It's hard to tell with elves under a certain point, but they're certainly young. Probably about your age, you'd imagine, just from like general maturity, and they haven't gotten that like fully matured haughtiness of an elf yet.
I would like to grab the 2 obsidian sickles then, that had fallen.
Okay, so they function like daggers, but they do damage +1.
Yes. Oh, so they're okay.
Yeah, they're 1 plus. They're light weapons. They function identical. They become slashing rather than stabby damage. But like their sickles, it's a more narrative game, so you can certainly like hook people's heads with these.
Okay. So you said damage +1.
Yeah. They're S +1, and they function almost identical to daggers. They do have a special quality, which we will get to later.
That's fine. Well, then I will put those on my person. I would like to take these 4 people into whatever building looks empty and
Yeah, there's just
no
like a
one's using
building
right
off
now.
over here.
Yeah.
Your best bet is that one that like he punched that Bandon punched his like foot through, and like it's partially like no one's paying attention to that right now.
Perfect. I take them into there. I take my 2 daggers. I stab them into the ground in the center, and I tell each one of them to take 4 corners. And I say, "Last 2 alive," and then I watch.
Is that the? Oh, you know what? That actually might be how they do it. Is that how they do it in the Canaanite cults?
It is now.
Honestly, probably would have just given the daggers to the females. I'm going to give everybody an equal chance here.
I like this. I like this equality.
Okay, so you're performing a ritual. I'm softening the words on this one. You're performing a Canaanite ritual for your new recruits.
For the ones that are still going to be alive.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's a process.
It's a process.
Yeah, I mean, moving forward, only so many people. It's rigorous. Our requirements are stringent. All that. So, and Skig is proselytizing, and Fyrgrim is inspecting. Like before all this stuff ends up happening. Bigwinter is. I mean, he's single-minded, right? So, he came here to get the juice. He's gonna go get the juice. Or what he thinks is that. So, like, maybe find somebody who is slightly higher level, and I mean like level of the cult or whatever, and like knows something, or just go into the big church.
Okay.
And kind of poke around and ask people and be like, take me to the juice, and they're like,
Yeah.
what?
Just to refresh you, by the way, he did tell us that there was a big store of it under the statue out in the center.
Oh, did he?
Yeah,
Okay, so I'll
yeah.
go to the. Sorry, I forgot about that. Yeah, I'll
No,
go
it's
to
all
the
good.
statue.
It was one random thing we didn't cover in the recap.
We have Bigwinter like, and he just pushes over the statue because he is big, and it is of no consequence to him. No, you're like kind of in the process of pushing over this huge statue. Skig's doing his devoted of Sigmar thing, and we cut back to Fyrgrim. I'm not even gonna make you roll for this because you do have Pixel Buddha. Thank you so much for that sub. Soren, I see. Soren's doing his Soren thing. Thank you so much for those gift subs, buddy. So your sense Urgold thing, you're getting it in trace amounts just like before. There's not like a big
Okay.
like repository or anything like
Mhm.
that. You happen to know that Urgold has like just a superior quality to it when it comes to like
Absolutely.
tech and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So it's used like one would use like the special components in a computer where you need that like extra sort of like just those like
Mhm.
extra like sort of like connections to.
The trace, yeah.
And in this sense, it's really sort of bridging the gap between the sort of like bio side of everything and the
Mhm.
like doodadery, the magical side of everything.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
as far as like specifically KO tech, um, not really.
Okay.
Like a sort of like
Well, that's what I would be familiar with, so that's what I'm looking for or trying to understand.
a pretty firm lack of the harpoon guns in like all of the various crab knees are very
Mhm.
similar to some like to some KO tech, but decidedly not. Like independent
Mhm.
invention, like they got to some of the same stuff, but not like fully there. KO is this is a lot cruder compared to like KO tech, like a
Got
lot
it.
cruder. Um, but the Urgold's presence is pronounced and decisive throughout
Hmm.
the whole mechanisms.
Hmm. Interesting.
Um,
Hmm. Uh, so yeah, I'm gonna try to. You said that, but the Urgold elements are trace.
uh,
Does this look recently forged, or does this look like it's old?
it looks like it's a work in progress. That there are
Awesome.
much older components and much newer ones. For instance, the harpoon mechanisms are
Yep.
very new.
Mm, interesting.
Within the last month or so, like new compared to just like you know metal
They're
and stuff.
shiny.
Yeah, they're shiny. Um, like very recent. The rig for like cinching him into the mechanism is very old.
Mm,
Um, like as you're up close and personal, you realize that this is a dwarf that at some point was like lost his parts in a battle. Like
mm,
this was not intentionally like he did this on purpose. This was a wounded dwarf. The scars of his body are old.
mm, mm, mm. Interesting.
The beard, this flow, this the beard is like a cape at this point. It's huge, immense, trailed behind him when he ran at you. Um,
I'm
he's
gonna look for tattoos.
you find some.
Um. Okay.
You find the scars rather of where one may have once upon a time pounded runes into his own flesh, but they've been
Mm,
stitched over. Um, like so you have like what would be a scar, but then you have this sort of stitching over it to sort of like almost not unmake it, but build off of it.
yeah. Hmm. Dark sorcery indeed. I'm gonna finish poking around with the corpse, and then I'm gonna go look for the workshop.
The last thing I will say is some of this tech is very obviously experimental, and I don't mean experimental as in its beta test phase. I mean
Right.
some of the things don't work.
Right.
Like their attempts at making a thing work, and he was kind of a living, willing,
Experiment.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But again,
Hmm.
really old, and a lot of his scars obviously predate most of this tech.
Yep.
Cut to Linessa. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I'm gonna go look for the workshop.
Okay, yeah. So you look at all this stuff. We cut to Linessa right in the middle of one of the women actually managed to secure both the daggers and kill all three. And she's like since knelt down in front of you with the daggers.
Very good.
You make a fine devotee of Cain. I take my daggers back. I I will give her one of the obsidian dagger for sickles. I'll keep one. I'll give her one. And I'm going to then take the blood from her enemies, and upon her body, put Terathi's symbol, put Kane's symbol, and tell her where she can go in Amvilgard to find the Terathian temple, and be one with her sisters.
You're going to give her any weapons at all, or do you think it would be worthier if she proves herself getting there?
Ooh,
That's a good point.
that's a good point. All right, I'll let her, because I think you want me to keep the sickle, is what you're trying to say.
No. No, I'm not saying that at all.
I see her on her way, and tell her where to go. Take all of her, no supplies. She just has clothes on her back. You must make it to join. What is her name?
Hang on. Let me consult my book of 20 names here.
Mm-hmm.
All right. While he's doing that, I want her to be like, she ends up being so badass. Like, she kills the other 3 when you were looking for 2. You tell her to just find her way back. She like swims there, like just ultimate.
She sent to kill me later.
You just made somebody's origin story right now.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Now we know the next character Chuck can play when this one dies.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Looking for her premier sister. Yeah.
It's Saya, she says. I have no last name. And she's staring you dead in the eyes with zero fear and nothing to lose.
I like her. Sorry. She's cold-hearted. Go give my regards to the Tarathian temple, and be one with the sisters, if you can make it.
All right. So Saya, just like she gives a knowing nod. She just like walks past you, and then like out the like through like the busted up sort of half collapsed sort of third wall of the building and out into the wilderness. We cut back to Bigwinter.
Yeah, I push over I assume it's like a statue of someone important to them. So, yeah,
The
push it
statue is
over.
a nondescript robed individual with arms aloft, and then you've got this like weird sort of like multiple concentric rings coming out of its back, structurally, not like ornamentally, if that makes sense. To this like big sun, and then it happens to like the concentric rings happen to make 11 because there's just that one extra beam that comes down type thing. And like looking up to this.
All right, yeah, I set my feet, push the thing over, it collapses and breaks apart. I'm like, down you go. Nice.
I mean, it like falls into like the fountain with like a nice little avalanche and like smashes up some stuff. In that process, one of the ball like rolls and like kind of careens and like falls over, and it happens to just smash into this little passage at the base of the fountain in the complete opposite direction of where you like were.
Huh. Start walking over to it. So this is like I'll like clear some of the area away. How big is this area?
So you have like a big, like a sort of like one of those big like low fountain type things, right? Like where, shin high for a human, ankle high for a dwarf, and then like just like a pool of like sort of serene, tranquil water, and then you have this thing like these steps raising up to this thing with this moon. You push it over, rubble, debris, blah, and then the wheel kind of like smashes and knocks out part of the section of the rim there, along with like some of this plaque. and it bashes in a little bit of the path leading up to it. So there's a lot of like sand and stuff like that. But what happens is it pummels across some of the sand and it hits something solid beneath it, and you can see that sand sort of like receding down into some sort of like hidden doorway just on the outside of that lip of the fountain near the plaque.
I actually have a shovel, so I put this to use.
All right.
Yeah, clear out the area, see how big the entrance is, if it can fit, I suppose, if I can fit in it.
And then Tom, I want you to roll a luck check, please. You will remember this
Okay.
luck check is a house rule, 2d6.
6 and a 2. 8 total.
All right. So you've finished sort of your investigation. You're heading to look for the workshop. As Skig, you notice something. You've really just been giving guidance, like single or individuals. Like, I just don't know where to go now. I don't know what to do. What to do? Mighty Skaven of Sigmar. Like.
Yeah, and basically, I'm going to instruct them to head back to Anvilgard and, rededicate themselves to something worthy of the faithful, right? Like, go there, join the guard, join the temple, help the people of the city. You know what I mean? Like, that sort of thing is what I'm encouraging them to do. When they have questions of faith, I respond as I understand Sigmar, which is always like, be merciful to those who deserve it and leave no quarter for those who do not, right? Like, he is a barbarian. He is a just barbarian king. Like, that is his.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like, you give them the pretty, solid advice compared to what they've been receiving. And you've been doing this for a while. Fyrgrim was right about to, like, head out, but he just happens to be in the area when you notice, like, you hear some, like, gasps from you've got a line at this point, like and you notice some gasps beyond your view because there's all these bodies, and you've probably like hunkered down and you're like sitting on like a stone at this point, and just like people are coming up and talking to you, and you hear this sort of collective gasp beyond what you can see because there's just this line and this curve, and then like some screams and people start running.
Okay. I stand up immediately.
From your vantage point, looking up over their heads, you can kind of peer down and you see one of the robed individuals from before with this sort of like crooked spine leaning backwards, almost fully contorted in the wrong direction, thrashing violently about, its skin beginning to sort of like almost burn and blister away as this just vapor of purple continues to like just plume from its body, and this form, completely animated by the remnants of whatever was in it, is just thrashing about this group, and it like just trounces on top of one of these acolytes, and it's writhing its arm sort of crooked multiple.
Yeah, I'm obviously moving over there immediately to get this person out of there.
Yep.
To go and confront this thing.
Yep. So roll for initiative, everybody. And by everybody, I mean you three.
Okay. So myself and Fyrgrim and this thing,
and
right?
This thing. Yep.
Okay. Fyrgrim.
I can't break 7 today.
Okay.
Always 7.
And this thing?
4.
Okay. So basically what we've got is it more smoke or more zombified body at this point?
Zombified body and animated by smoke. And super,
okay, so sort of giving this stuff off.
Yeah. Yeah, these.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Does it actually have that person in its grip, or what does it have?
It's like sort of like over it, looming over this one person that's tackled. And you'll notice immediately it was the sickle-wielding one, now that you've kind of like taken in the scene. The sickle-wielding one with the pretty eyes, as Linessa put it, is just completely. It's like a scarecrow almost in terms of its movement and like ligaments and stuff. It's just body's completely contorted and barely holding together.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. So What I'm going to do is, I assume this is within like the zone I'm in currently.
Yeah. It's all you've been. It's yeah. There's basically one zone,
And I
kind of two, but like a move, and then you'd be in the zone. Fyrgrim.
That's fine. So I do see Fyrgrim in the area, right?
Yeah, you see him just on the other side of the crowd, in kind of like the opposite direction.
Okay, I say Fyrgrim, heresy, and then I move over to. So it's this smoky monster, and then this thing. Okay, I move directly over to the guy.
It's just the thing. It's just the thing. Just the thing.
Yeah. The smoke. Well, no, the guy who's on the ground.
Oh, yeah.
Loomed on.
Yep.
Yes. Okay, so I'm gonna move over, and I'm gonna use the shove action to push the innocent guy out of the way. I basically just use my shield to push him sideways. Get him out of the way.
No
and take
dice.
his place.
No dice, since you're kind of trading places.
Yep. And I will stand in his place. I hold my holy symbol aloft and point at this thing and say, "If it is judgment you seek, monster, then you have come to the right place." And I stand before him. I will spend a medal to take the dodge action in front of him.
Okay.
And I have completed my initiative now.
All right.
Fyrgrim.
I'm just trying to understand what I'm seeing. So it's like a smoke monster,
It's like
a zombie leaking smoke.
It's like a scarecrow zombie reanimated corpse leaking smoke. This purple smoke.
So is it the smoke or the zombie?
The zombie is the physical form trying to kill everybody. It's super contorted.
So there is a zombie.
Yeah.
It's not like it's just ethereal.
I didn't want to say a zombie because I'm the Nagash guy, okay?
I understand. There is a dead animated body that is leaking evil black purple smoke. Like that. It's that thing. It's that image.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna hit it in the face with a hammer because I think that's the right way to go.
Yeah. So you gotta you charge up and you hit it with a hammer. All right.
Yes. And we'll see what happens. We'll see if this was the right move or not. I'm attacking on a normal.
A good?
No. I'm sorry, an average. There we go. An average is my attack.
Okay.
And what is zombie's defense?
It has good defense on account of its weird enigmatic movements.
Meaning I need a 6?
5.
Or 5? Okay. Well, I will. I'll use my focus to turn that 5 to a 6. So I'll have 1 success. I'll do 2 damage to the zombie creature, and I'll knock it down.
All right. You kind of connect with it.
Yep.
But it feels like you just kind of hit like a bag of rice, and then it falls over.
Well, then since it's fallen over, I'm gonna meddle and do it again.
Right.
And I'm gonna come down with. I'll trade. Sure, I'll trade 2 levels. So I'll drop down from.
I love this ability.
So I'll go up to. So I'll hit on 3s.
Is it? Well, hold on. Is it actually prone? Was he able to actually?
Yeah, he completely knocked it down successfully.
Okay, so your melee already goes up 1 step because you're attacking a prone creature from close range.
4s. So I'll swap it 2 steps. There we go. I'll go down to 2s. Sounds great.
Good.
Cool. Cool. All of them hit. So 4 or 5 more damage.
You smash its skull in. It's not moving.
Okay.
What was that?
I don't know. Something bad, heretical. We should burn these bodies. I didn't do it. We should burn the bodies of those 3. They're clearly tainted by Chaos's evil touch.
I will start gathering them to burn them.
Yeah, there's no weird horror scene where they reanimate as you're grabbing them to burn them. They just pile them up and.
Okay.
I think they'd be understanding. It's clear what's happening, right? So
it's at this point that Linessa comes back to the party, and and as well
More
as
blood.
what?
Covered in more blood.
Really? Or did she like take a shower and that's her excuse for being gone? At this point, the blood's like kind of like caked to your flesh and stuff. It's becoming like little scabs of like brown and with highlights of crimson.
Good exfoliation.
Looks like you took a mud bath of blood at this point, and you got to like peel off the little stuff so you can exfoliate. And then Bigwinter comes back.
Something reanimated one of the bodies.
Oh. Burning them work?
We did burn them. They're over there now.
Bigwinter's got like a shovel slung over his shoulder, it should be noted.
How many were turned?
Only one stood up, but we burned all 3 of them just in case.
Yeah, our tribe fought the flesh eaters before, and we had to burn their bodies as well.
Yep. Lots of things don't stay dead. Nothing too weird. More heresy and evil tainted magic about.
Eating them works too.
That makes sense. That checks out.
I found a tunnel.
Oh, okay. Well, we should go check it out.
I'm
I
up
like
for
look
some
around
cave dweller.
to like see if all of you told the people what needed to be told, and everyone seems ready. If so, then I'll lead them over to the statue area.
Yeah. I make sure the people are calm, and then we can head as I hope they see that this thing has been destroyed. But I do calm them more, right? I'll walk over and say, and say that the trickery of chaos never rests, but the righteous always win victory. And I point at the pile of ash. Fear not.
The individual that you specifically sort of potentially self-sacrificed for is just the most devout Sigmarite you've seen in a long time. This person is sold on everything you say, whether it's true or not, or your weird interpretation. They're not so much a devoted of Sigmar as they are a devoted of Skig.
We'll get them on the right road eventually. That's fine. I will start telling people to prep their stuff, because as many people as we can take on the boat, we should take back to Anvilgard with us.
Yep. So they all this an odd sort of harmony moves over the villages. They've sort of been brought back from the cusp of chaos, and they're sort of regaining their senses. They've seen a lot of drastic things, but even on a mortal realms or weird sort of level, this has been a lot of crazy stuff in a short period of time, and it's kind of really snapped them out of this fanatical fog they've been in. And so they gather their belongings, they're packing up, they sort of move toward this. They're near the fountain, which is town square essentially, gathering their stuff, waiting for the promise of this boat to come, and then. As promised, Bigwinter, you see this great sort of set of staircases heading beneath the fountain. Bigwinter's going to have to squeeze. He's going to have to scrunch to get down through, but you can look down in both Skig and Fyrgrim. You look down and you're like, oh yeah, this is a great tunnel. You're dwarves. Or you're a dwarf and a Skaven, respectively.
Mm-hmm.
So you could look down and to be like, Bigwinter goes down there. Should be good. It's just the entryway itself is a little congested for him.
I kind of push on him a little if he needs some help. Just
Yeah, you're
very heavy.
all right. You head. All right.
Well, actually, I took contortionist. No, I'm kidding.
So you kind of head down through this initial threshold, and then up ahead you can actually hear these this sort of churning, rumbling noise, sort of from multiple sources. And then these, like, the ever so occasional rhythmic tinking and clinking of something.
Mm.
And I'll be right back.
Okay. All right.
Looking at the way the room was arranged and like who he was talking to, it looked like he was just randomly talking to his invisible friend because it looks like he'd be against a wall.
Yeah.
It's true.
I would love if Linessa inspired Bigwinter to actually take Contortionist.
Yeah.
We
Start
teach
using
each other.
daggers, start spinning more during combat. Bringing the arms in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're all soulbound. We're gonna pick up a
Yeah, naturally.
too, of
Yeah, influenced
each
by everybody else.
each other's ticks and.
Vince, your sheet is fantastic, but I'm kind of upset you didn't plan to have Obsidian Sickle with the exact stats already in this sheet planned for me
Yeah, I'm
ahead
really
of time.
sorry, man. That's
mean-
a real miss on my part there.
Mhm.
There is
I
a new
mean-
version, by the way. So the character sheet that I made, a couple people have really taken it and run with it, and they put a new version up in the Soulbound Facebook group, so you can find it
cool.
there.
Cool.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
color coded it, and they did a lot of extra stuff. It was really nice. So
That's awesome.
do check
Yeah,
that
this sheet makes it so much easier.
yeah, I mean, I have to use something like that just because
Yeah.
it just makes it easier to see all your dice pools. It's the one thing that about the normal character sheet, like you can have all your little boxes ticked, but then you still got to do math every time you want to figure out what a random sort of skill is, right? Whereas when I look at this, I'm just like, oh, okay, cool, awareness 3d6, got it, right on. I didn't need to go do mind plus something to figure out the number.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that that's hard math. It's just I don't want to do math every time I want to look at a number and make a quick check. So, yeah.
I am hoping that Sigmar will eventually bless Skig with a second tail.
No.
Yeah, for the twin tail.
The twin tail, yeah.
But it's a Skaven tail.
Oh my god, that's
one.
amazing.
That's a good one.
That'd be so good.
That would
And
be a
no-
great day.
No one tell Meph. Let him.
No,
let him
he's
get there by
got to
himself.
seize on that on his own. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, Skig does use his tail quite often in a pseudo, prehensile way. Like Skaven tails are quite nimble. It's not like I can wield a weapon with it or something. I'm not a like Eshin assassin, but they use it to it'll move around and tap people and manipulate basic things and stuff.
All right, I pawned the taking out of the dog on somebody else, so I only had to take myself out. Hey, Diesel Shot! Thank you so much for the raid. You're catching us transitioning into Act 3 now of the evening. I missed the ambient conversation. I hope it was in character RP.
It was actually some really good stuff, but we're not going to tell you about it because we specifically said we can't tell you about it. You have to seize on something we thought of on your own.
It's true.
Or you could watch this back and cheat. But, don't do that.
Don't cheat. Don't cheat.
Come on, my greatest superpower is I'm the improv GM. I'm able to totally take your riffs and stuff. So it makes me a pretty passable GM. You kind of plunge into this darkness. Skig, you have always been able to see into darkness such as this.
Mm-hmm. Always. It's always been a thing that's on my character sheet.
Checked out.
The rest of you may or may not need assistance seeing as you begin to sort of plunge into this depth.
I will alight my holy symbol some, to cast a light out. Yes.
Well,
all
right.
It's certainly going to cast a huge shadow because because Bigwinter is in the tunnel in
directly in front of you.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like, were there just like a kid, like this is just like like the basement, just happens to be like an old forgotten tunnel of the basement of like, I don't know, the magistrate's home or something, and they're putting their kid to bed tonight, they would just see the literal boogeyman shadow just like erupt into the room.
Yes.
But instead, you just have this great sort of looming, stretched out shadow, and you have essentially light within one zone, dim light within one zone. Super bright near you, and then cascading out from there. Enough to navigate. The stairs go down for actually a good while. You feel like you're down about 2-3 stories by the time the floor finally like flattens out and you reach a landing. It is, as I said before, it is well carved and well hewn. Like, skilled, clearly the dwarves amongst the the acolytes here must have done this. You immediately think, Fyrgrim. Clearly they did this. No question in your mind. As it like levels out, and you can catch. Now that you've kind of hit the base of these stairs, you can actually catch up ahead licks of this warm, sort of like orange blue. Prismatic glow up ahead. Not prism in the sense that it's all colors, but in the weird sort of fractal orange and blue.
Scintillating.
Correct.
Okay. Make our way toward it.
All right. As you get closer, your holy symbol light no longer is no longer necessary, as whatever room or chamber is up ahead is well lit by whatever this is. And still you have that sort of rhythmic interrupting clinking with these churning noises. And you find yourselves peering from a hallway into what must be the sort of heart of this operation. This whatever mining is going on. You can see like great big wooden sort of turbines and stuff like that, like churning and moving about with intermittent like sort of metal plating and stuff like that, you actually sort of like spot like a sort of series of tunnels leading out from this central chamber, but most importantly you see this sort of like this hearth or this forge where this light is coming. And you half expect to see actual fire roaring from it, but instead you see this sort of shard, about the size of an ogre's fist, really, like lodged.
I'll be the judge of that.
Lodged in this hearth. It's this sort of. It almost looks like a bit of charcoal. Sort of like a burning coal with this sort of like this blue hot prismatic quality to it, and that orange is sort of like bursting in and out as the sort of this prism sort of ignites and then smolders and ignites and then smolders, and you can all feel it. It's palpable. It is on your skin and inside of you. This anger suddenly. Just being in the presence, being in the glow of this light. You also see some acolytes that missed the big hubbub up above. About
Ooh, boy, does it suck to be these guys.
About a dozen of them. About a dozen of them or so. And they're, tending various gears. They're throwing various switches and stuff. Every now and then you see them pull up a cart from off of some tracks and stuff like that and load it with various, like, either bits of equipment or unload just what looks like soot to you.
So in the center of the room in this cave is this one. You said this gem is like the size of an ogre's fist, right? And so it's just like pulsing.
Yeah,
right?
and
it's like blue and then orange and then blue and then orange, and it's giving off like anger, palpable anger.
Yeah, it's in a hearth looking type sort of like like billows, you know, like it's inside of
Mhm.
like
Okay.
it's inside of an engine or a furnace at the center.
Oh,
of it.
okay, got it.
And then you got the tubes like kind of going up into the ceiling, and then you got all these like gear work and clockwork kind of strewn about the sort of like peripherals of the room, and then you can see like various piping and stuff.
Is the room built around this thing, or is this in like the corner or up against the wall?
The
or
room
something?
is around this thing. This is at the center of the room.
Okay. It's like a pillar in the center of the room then. Okay.
Yeah, and you've got these like piping again. It's like the hearth. It's the center.
And there's 12 cultists or so, like a dozen.
Yeah, and they're doing stuff, and one leaves through a tunnel, and one comes back. I mean, it wouldn't be 20, but 5 seems too few. It's
Sure.
touching a double digits and then not as they kind of come in and they're doing stuff.
Okay, a fortnight of cultists then.
Yeah, a fortnight of them or so. It's also important to note that one of these tunnels leading out from here in particular is giving off like an actual sort of ambient blue glow. You can see off over that way, like, hey,
Mm.
Okay.
this sort of like blue hot, like, you know, almost goes white and then recedes and pulses.
And are all of these underling looking ones, or is there like a jacked one that like pounds the stuff and looks like he's in charge or something?
All pure underlings.
Okay.
Well, we should figure out what's going on here.
Surely they noticed us.
You could assume. I think it's easy. There's probably even some like trace, like big ass crab print foot things about this chamber.
Okay, yeah.
Almost like the warden may have perhaps been.
Hmm.
This is where he was summoned from.
Shall we address them?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's talk.
Can I? Well, yeah. Maybe Skig is the face person, but
Oh, I'm good with it. You can talk to them. They'll
right.
respond better with you, I suspect.
I suppose so. And I'm backlit and everything, and like 12 feet tall. So, hello, we killed your warden. We're here to ruin everything.
All the heads turn. So I need a soul roll here, I think.
Okay.
As you exude this force of self.
This is intimidation, I guess, or
yeah,
soul?
just go. Yeah, we'll go with intimidation. Intimidation soul.
2 successes.
You have.
I'm not like terribly great at intimidating, actually. I generally just kill people instead.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that, like, given the just your size, it's like you're almost the replacement warden at this point. And they're just like,
Okay.
Like you have all of their attentions. Why are you here to ruin everything? Weren't we doing a good job? Says one of them.
No. Well, maybe, but it was for a bad cause. We killed that cause. Talk to this one if you want to get saved. Talk to this one if you want to get killed.
They look.
I figured they're used to organization. They're in a little assembly line, so I'm telling them which route to go down.
Mm-hmm.
They look between Skig and Linessa and Skig, and then the one who's just like kind of not quite caught on is just staring directly at Fyrgrim, just like curious, like just not certain of themselves. Just
What he said.
You can queue up right here.
Can we go? Says another one of them, kind of at the back of the room. If the warden ain't here,
I will repeat I kind of interrupt him as soon as he says, like, can we go? You may talk to this one if you want to get saved, and you may talk to this one if you want to be killed. And if you want to keep talking, this one will eat you. And I point to myself.
One's just like, finally, and immediately goes over to Linessa and just like kneels down, head like low, and the rest just line
like
up in front of Skig.
Futurama suicide bot. Yeah.
Yeah, Futurama
Whoa.
suicide bot. Like,
Yeah. What were you doing down here?
who are you addressing? The whole like collective or the
yes.
one about to get ganked
Yes.
or okay.
Yes.
as they are falling into their lines with the one, like, finally with the suicide booth, like, currently you interrupt them a little bit ahead of that. What were you doing down here? Chores, says the one. We're doing chores, maintaining the chambers.
For who?
Why the warden, of course, says one of the others.
And what were you? What were your jobs beyond maintaining?
They explain some like one's like, well, I was tasked with testing the stones, and he just like looks at the pile. I have not found one yet, and he just like looks sad. And like with the like.
How often do you find? How often do you find these stones?
Not very often. You'd think, with this supposedly being a hot spot, one of them looks at the camera, of activity, that they'd be more easy to come by. But it turns out Emberstone is far more scarce than we realized. I guess there was a good vein here once upon a time, but it seems to be
Time
depleted.
out. Emberstone is the realm stone for Akshi, right?
Correct.
Okay.
The other one's like, they were looking for alternatives. And, well, and like they gesture at like the greatest one in the middle. They all like, and very, like, kind of discordantly and out of sync.
So is that Emberstone?
They all kind of like just try to like stonewall you. They're not good at it. They've been broken down. They are sheep. Well,
What is that?
We're not supposed to say, says one of them.
Well, we killed everybody who told you not to say things, so now you say things to us. What is that?
I missed what you said, Tom.
We're in charge here now.
Yeah, yeah. This is the original. Says one of them. This is what they said was the original one found here. We keep it alive. We keep it alive.
How about alive? How do you keep it alive?
Well, if we don't do what we're told, it doesn't work anymore, and it's what keeps the village working. They look they're sold on this.
How about you show us around?
You'll note that there are 11 chambers leading out of this one, or 11 tunnels leading out of this one. There's one with a blue glow. They kind of explain the gist of they're basically doing a sort of like mining operation. And they really do go in depth in explaining what each room is in particular. And the one with the blue glow, they're like, only the warden goes there.
We'll go there next. Continue. And
then they tell you the ins and outs, and apparently these tunnels go throughout the entire island. They've been mining this Emberstone for a while. They have gotten some, and yeah, I mean, there's side effects. They don't say side effects. This.
What are the consequences?
It doesn't work right. It doesn't work right. He was inspired by the quake.
Who was?
Him.
Nihilus.
They all like look at each other.
Nihilus.
He was inspired.
I'll say his name.
Yeah. They all like obviously have fear of the name, right? He was inspired by the quake. The whiteboard.
Perfect.
He's like he was inspired by the quake, but it doesn't work right. Says, but it doesn't work right. Says another one. It has side effects. We're trying to find a better way.
Hmm.
Okay, well, we should smash that thing, the machine, and then take the rock.
Yep. I assume during that whole explanation, the one was quietly killed by Linessa to no fanfare at all. Just
Yeah,
business
just
as
that,
usual.
It's
it would be,
simple.
if it's a film, it would just be like we would just see the body as you move into the next room, and like we never saw the kill or anything, and no one ever addresses it. Like just completely even keeled into the next scene, like as if it's nothing.
It's helping out. It's helping
Totally
out.
Chaplin that, like just the
So,
best.
blue room or smash the machine and take the thing.
I
I
say
think it's
both.
blue room.
I think both.
Blue room.
That's fine. We can do the blue room first.
Yeah, let's do the blue
Okay.
room. Thing makes
All-
people angry. So.
Agreed.
As an aside, I don't want to smash the thing and then have somebody that's in the blue room come into the room as we're smashing the thing.
Sure, it's fine.
Yeah.
I turn to the ones who are here. You can all go. Your brothers above have found Sigmar and have found the light of a righteous cause. The leaders of this heretical cult have been destroyed. Soon we will find Nihilus and destroy him. Return with the rest of these people to Anvilgard and make a better life for yourself.
They just like rush out. You're fairly convinced that the 12 minus 1 are undecided.
I understand.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking we'd convert them that quick. The goal was just to get rid of them.
Yeah, so they peace out, and you head to the blue room. The only thing I can describe, you see a couple splinters of this same sort of like weird prismatic sort of cinder stone. These coals that have this prismatic effect, and you can. I need to stress once more that within the light of it, you can feel your emotions boiling to the surface. You're shorter of temper.
Is it just like anger emotions, or is it like all emotions?
It leans towards anger, but it boils your emotions. Like whatever
Okay.
you're feeling, it can it can exacerbate it. Whatever it like,
Mm.
but like
Mm.
anger is, if you're not angry, you are now. So like anger is part of it, but any emotion is just in the presence of this. It's just
I will put up a bolster faith, which cuts.
you're gonna do
okay.
a bolster faith, but real quick, Fyrgrim, you can go ahead and roll a lore.
Sure.
This is pertinent
I will
kind of
do
to your whole jam is part of this thing.
Yeah. I will try to discern what this sounds like or what this is reminiscent of. So here we go. What target numbers am I looking for?
Force.
Force.
Degrees of success will
I
impart new
3
knowledge.
successful.
Okay. This is certainly Emberstone. This is the Realm Stone of Akshi.
Yep.
You know that certainly. With sort of the additional success that it is coveted in forging. Like, it makes some of the impossible possible if you use Realm Stone to forge.
Right.
You also additionally know, about the emotional thing that's going on. So you know about the side effect.
It's like that realm stone, the Akshi realm stone itself does this.
Yeah. So you know basically you checked all the boxes. So you know
All right.
for certain this is that. You also know it's coveted in forging because it can just make some of the impossible feats of forging possible, and then you finally know its side effect that it does this.
It causes the rage. I convey this information to the party.
Linessa will speak up. I really like it here, but I also hate it. I hate it a lot, but I like it.
Of course you do.
I'd like to try and take a small piece of it if I could. Just one of the ones on the wall, like one of the splinters.
Yeah. So
I chiseled out my dagger.
In the blue room, you'll have your that happens.
Okay.
If you want to make it discreet from the party, you can go ahead and roll.
No. There's no script.
Yeah, you all walk into the room and Linessa just walks over and just goes and like grabs a bit.
Yep.
The blue room, by the way, isn't blue because the walls are lined with it. It's because this is where like some fragments are kept. But
Right.
more importantly, they're powering some legitimate machinery. You saw some rudimentary it works. You could see the sort of initial bits of the mining. You can almost see it tell its story through the age of like they started with like the basics, they built onto it, they re-supported it. I mean, once you start to carve out a cave, though, you can't exactly tear down the structure and
Right.
put in the new mechanism. So you can see that this has been going on for a while. Is really what the story of the previous room tells. You don't know that there's necessarily a functionality to the main prism inside of that the furnace or that sort of central structure. But like everybody in that room believed there was. And in the blue room, what you actually see is kind of like a contrast of like modern by KO and modern by Cities of Sigmar standards. Like this is the pinnacle of like what like Anvil Guard or the Steam City arcade. Like this is it, right? Short of some like ancient KO secrets, this is it. It's all powered by some a couple shards of the Cinderstone go a long way here. Or the Emberstone go a long way here. And that blue glow is actually coming from like essentially the steam that's kicked off in here. But then there's also this element of like you can see the warden has been working on himself here.
Yeah.
You can see some of the older parts being replaced, some of the experimentation going on that I alluded to before. This is his workshop. This is what you were about to set out and look for before Fyrgrim. And then you had a thought there, Haywo.
Yeah, is there a skill, maybe Arcana or something like that, where I could determine what exactly these machines do?
Arcana is indeed a skill. It's called Arcana. It's arcane knowledge plus demon lore essentially. So you could discern some stuff. Lore is like basically bardic knowledge now. So like lore is the skill where you know kind of everything.
Maybe craft, maybe Arcana, maybe just mind. I'm not sure.
I would say it's between Arcana and lore. Your choice. Arcana is going to point you in a specific direction. Lore is going to give you a better understanding.
All right. Well, they're both 2s, so I'll take lore.
Okay.
0 successes. I don't know what they do.
I don't know. Whatever it is, pretty cool though.
So
yeah.
Here, I'll take a look. I'll lean in and study it. What am I aiming for?
Force.
Okay, 2 successes. 1 6.
All right, so there are some schematics about. You notice the original designs very specifically do not appear to be that of the Warden's himself. He's
adapting this.
Yes. Yes. So you notice that very specifically. You also notice a lot of like, so it's a lore.
Do I recognize what are the languages associated with it? Like, do I recognize any of the runic languages associated?
You know, there is some heavy reliance on like classic, like sort of runesmithing, like heavy reliance on it. It's not all accurate. That it's important to state that, but there's a very active experimentation going on with it, and some of it's worked. Not all of it. It's an active experiment. But with your lore, you also kind of like realize that there's a sort of unknown agent here. Like this is supposed to be Emberstone and so on and so forth, but then you kind of like see this sort of like you see the like you. This is where the Urgold syringes are, by the way.
Right, and that was going to be my next question: is can I find? I'm going to look for a cache of Urgold. Because it's clear that he was manipulating Urgold in some sense.
Yeah. So you find the Urgold here. This is where you find the cache of Urgold. You find these.
Oh, was he making these out of his old runes or something like that?
So you actually find the Urgold syringes here.
Okay.
And you sort of like get that there's there's a new mechanism that he was experimenting with, and it's like you have the actual prototype. It's sleeker, it's smaller, and it's an inhalant instead of an injection.
Interesting.
Oh, okay. And so maybe he was used one time, and that was the gas zombie we saw last time.
Possibly. I'm going to gather up the Urgold.
You get a literal cache of Urgold in terms of, like, they don't use a whole lot in terms of the syringes. It really is just the needle point. So,
like a couple pounds.
pretty much.
Okay.
They don't need a lot to make a bunch of syringes.
Yep.
Do you want me to write that in the
feel like
party, or are
this,
you keeping that, I assume?
What was that?
I was just saying, do you want me to write that in the party stuff, or are you, I assume, keeping the Urgold on you? I just don't want it to get lost. Okay, cool.
It is holy.
Yeah, no issues. That was just more of a logistics thing. I'm sorry, please continue.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, on that note, I think this realm stone needs to be taken out of the wrong hands and put into the right ones, and then I just pick it up. Okay, done.
With your sort of like additional success from the lore, you notice the notes scrawled into like these schematics he's been riffing on. First of all, you notice the unmistakable like off-centered axe as the signature. I feel with context you can fill in that is specifically Nihilus's like seal. As if he was the original designer of these schematics. But you also notice in various like sort of like the runic language you become familiar with, and because he's written his notes in Duarden or whatever, and probably some like some sort of weird modified coded version of it. But the gist of which you can get is that there is a flaw in the serum. And they are trying to they are trying to alter it with a better agent. And this is the side of the better agent, quote, and like he firmly believes this is where the better agent comes from. So you exit the room, I guess.
Yeah, collect the realm stone. However much is in this room as well. And I don't understand this technology enough to know what to do or what's valuable or whatever, so I'll just do that.
It is at this point that Skig, you smell a familiar odor to only your finite Skaven senses.
Okay.
Linessa, you who like plucked this stone, you haven't really been paying attention to like the mechanisms and all this like all the lame stuff going on.
Yep.
You like have already since like kind of chased some shadows into the preceding chamber, perhaps in your boredom.
Okay.
Or you might not.
There's,
You're called.
like-
Like, you caught some stuff, and they're really deep into this investigation.
Yeah, I'd wander. I had zero interest in what they were doing.
Yeah, I kind of figured. I thought I had a good read on your character. And that's about the time, like, Skig, you see, you see Linessa kind of, like, breeze past you, and it kicks in this, like, sort of new gusto wind, and warpstone.
What does it smell like? Oh, warpstone? Okay.
Unmistakably.
So
Everyone
from the
Yeah.
direction she went?
Yeah.
That familiar itch comes back.
More. We need to go that way.
All right.
Do you have the Ember Rock?
The main one? No, we haven't smashed
No,
that
you
machine.
you decidedly chose not to smash the huge one.
Right. But there was a little one in this room, right?
There were several little ones, and you could have gathered them all. I assume
Yes,
that you
okay.
did.
That's what I'm saying. We have all of those.
You get into the previous room, and it's Linessa first, followed by Skig, and then, like, because the rest of the party is, like, kind of scrambling to put together all the flavor of what was going on previously when you guys were essentially interrupted and you kind of rush back into the other room. Right in time to witness the big one sort of plucked back through a gnaw hole.
Ah. Got it.
But more poignantly, you notice several Skaven sabotaging all of the mechanisms all throughout the whole room. Just, I mean, it's Skavens. They're everywhere. They are just, they came in here, they poured through the cracks in reality, and they are sabotaging the place for you. They're doing you a service, really.
Mm-hmm.
We're so thankful.
So what is it, like a dozen Skaven in the room or something?
Like 4 dozen Skaven.
Okay, sure. So a full contingent of Skaven, a full claw pack has been sent in here.
A
Yeah.
unit of
Okay.
Skaven.
A unit of Skaven have been sent in here to, yeah.
Well, I got a 9 on my initiative, so I can probably take 20 of them.
So I need to be clear here.
What do they look like, by the way?
Yeah.
You say Skaven, like that's a wide range. Like, what am I looking at? Actual Skaven.
They're familiar to you. They're brandishing was it Skizit? Hang on here. I gotta go back to my character page notes. Claw Lord Kizit's brandings are all about their clothing.
Gotcha. Are they dressed like night runners? Are they dressed like clan rats? Like, what are they dressed like? Like, it's pretty easy to identify.
It's a mix. It's a mix of like clan rats and like night runners. Like,
okay,
a little bit of
got
ninja Skaven, but then also just like worker rats who just like do the thing.
Yeah. So it's not like I don't see any like full on gutter runners or assassins or storm vermin or anything like that.
No,
right?
no like hero quote unquote types. No. This is a pack of rats sent in to do the job, and it doesn't matter if you get out or not.
And the gnaw hole's already closed?
You could go through the gnaw hole, but the Emberstone's already through it.
Right. So like it opened, somebody's reached in, pulled it, like grabbed the big stone and pulled it in, and now there's just like a little open, swirly green gnaw hole.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Got it. There's a whole lot of rats in here.
You hear Skig's voice billow through the hall.
Oof.
Yeah, which hero do I challenge in a duel in classic Warhammer Fantasy Battle, which was my favorite thing ever? There's none of those. It's just
I understand. I hold the holy symbol.
The elite one was the one that extracted the...
Yeah, that extracted the thing.
Yeah.
I hold the holy symbol up and crack it to full light and say, flee or be judged by Sigmar's holy wrath.
I hope you guys try to kill 40 fucking clan rats.
Well, I just openly fucking lit the holy symbol up, so...
We're doing it.
Oh, let's go! Okay,
Like, I mean, it's up to them, their next action. I gave them... Yes.
Heightened, right? So, I'm hungry.
Yeah, I mean, we're all angry. Yeah, you just told us we're all influenced by anger, and then you threw 40 rats in front of us. So, like, my immediate response was to say, flee or be judged by the God King's wrath.
I love
That's
this
it.
so much.
Those are your options.
Too nice.
Well,
It's way too nice.
Like,
Kill 'em
just
all.
the metal is just... The guitar is shredding in the background as the rest of the party comes into the chamber.
Oh, I'm going towards the portal. I want that orb.
Okay.
So, initiative?
Yep.
Okay.
Keep the 9 I rolled earlier.
I mean, 3 sessions was pretty good, right? That's a campaign. We already have one backup.
I'm going to live by the die by the die. All 40 Skaven are going at the same time.
Absolutely.
Oh,
I'm
geez.
down with
If ever there was a time for it. 7 for them.
Okay. Fyrgrim.
7 for me.
Linessa.
9.
Fjormar.
7.
Okay. Hot damn.
Like,
All
I just
right.
keep rolling 3 on this die. What can I say?
Yeah, that's good. Okay. So, just initial questions about the room before we jump into our first initiative here. The rats are all scattered about. What's the zone situation in this room?
So you got the portal at the center of the room. That is like,
Mhm.
we'll call that Zone 1.
Okay.
Zone 2 is a sort of like ring on the outside of it, where like
Yep.
the bulk of the rats are. And this is in 3 dimensions, so they're like on the ceiling, they're in the pipeworks and stuff like that.
Sure.
Okay?
Yep.
And then you have Zone 3, which is like the opening of like all the various caves on the sort of outer ring of this chamber. You're on
Okay.
the opening of one of those rings. So then
Gotcha.
any
So we're in
other...
the-
Yeah. So any
We're
other
in this
ring...
zone 3.
Yeah, and any other ring, then essentially, with the exception of like adjacent chambers, like you have to sort of pass through 2 other.
Yep. Would be a
zones.
new zone. Yep.
Yeah.
Got it. Yep. Okay. So if we wanted to, so basically it's 2 zones if you wanted to get to the open gnaw hole, but there's rats 1 zone away from us right now, right?
I mean, there are 40 rats. There are rats you can kill at any zone you're in at any time.
Okay, got it. Are they here in this opening area with us?
Yeah, there's like just around the opening of it, they're like climbing about. There's like pipeworks up above, because remember these pipeworks sprawled out into all 11 of the tunnels. So there's like pipeworks that go into the blue room. There's some Skaven up on those pipeworks right now.
Okay, got it. Okay, that's cool. Wishing I actually had more prayers. Clearly I just need to only buy prayers from now on.
I just wish you would have looked at the camera right there. Like you should have
Yeah.
more prayers per prayer selection.
Okay. So anyways, that's fine. So I'm on a 12. My reaction, I will actually no, I won't react. I'll just do this round. So I will, in our current zone. It's not going to matter because everybody's going to run out there and smash Skaven, I assume. So, so I will stay here. I'll bolster faith. So I'll set up our zone with the barrier. Okay. So only the ones who are in here right now can easily come in and attack us. If people want to leave this zone, that's more than fine. I can leave in the future, but it prevents us from being swarmed, and that would be my natural response, right? Like 40 rats, we've got to separate them because they'll swarm us. So I'll put up the bolster faith, which puts out the light of Sigmar, fills this tunnel and bolsters them with his fury if they try to enter. And then I will spend 1 metal and take the dodge action, and I am now complete with my turn.
Okay.
Linessa.
I will pull out my daggers out of habit, not used to these obsidian sickles yet, and I will split all my attacks, just running through stab, 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 stab. Yeah, just stop.
So I mean, you can only split your dice between 2 attacks.
Yeah. I think what he's saying is he's like going 1 and 1 and 1 and 1. He's running and stabbing and running and stabbing.
Yeah.
Stabbing, yeah. And I'm guessing are they poor? Like where are they at?
Yeah, they're poor.
Okay.
They're poor in terms of armor. The clan rats essentially.
Okay, so that'll be 6 successes.
You just like skewer 2 of them en route.
Yep. Let's use some metal. Do it again.
Yep.
Another 6 successes.
2 more down.
And we'll use metal again.
I hoped you would.
Yep, and that would be 6 more successes. It's easy when you need 2s and you...
Sure.
Yeah, they're gone.
Great! It's a 5. Damn it. I wanted it so bad.
You've advanced a zone, essentially, like stabbing your way and cutting your way through, and you've essentially advanced a zone. So you have 1 more zone yet to go to get to the tunnel at the middle, if you wish. Who's next?
Okay, cool. Well, you got 6 down. That's pretty good.
That's 6 of them. We're at 34.
Yeah, I'm hashing it.
Oh, good. You got a notepad open.
I've been
Yeah,
doing
I
like
got the
lame
open.
real math, like -2, -2.
Oof.
Yeah, I know.
I need to get some fire runes.
Let's
So
go.
I
Well,
ask about our Soulfire ability. What can that actually do?
well, I'm glad you asked, Bigwinter. What a great question. So, what can Soulfire do? What Soulfire can do is either maximize successes, so everything you roll in a single check counts as a 6. You can re-roll as many dice as you like on a check, which you probably would never do. You would just know you were going to do it and make everything count as a 6 beforehand.
Yeah.
You can regain all spent metal. You can recover all of your toughness, or you can cheat death. You can pull yourself out of being mortally wounded.
This one's pretty good, by the way.
So
It's like
Okay.
it's like Shadowrun's like just stop death, once every. So it's like that. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool one. Okay. Was just curious. Not going to use it, but
The 2 you're going to use are cheat death or get all 6s. Let's be honest.
Or if Linus is all alone and is no toughness and I can't heal her, then she could use that to keep
yeah,
going.
or maybe get back all metal if somebody has 3 metal or something to get
Absolutely.
I could have killed
like
12.
million attacks.
It's really good for spells because it lets you maximize all your spell dice.
Right.
But you have to have spells that can do that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So now we have Fyrgrim and Bigwinter. You're on the same initiative. You're next. So up to you.
I'm gonna stay and guard our rat. Because I'm afraid that he's gonna get shivved.
He's going to get got.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna stay close by, and if any rats approach, I'm gonna hit it. I'm gonna smack them.
Okay. So this is a reaction. You're going to smack them if they come in. Got it.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
Bigwinter.
So if I'm running past a bunch of them, are they attack of opportunitying me, or is it
Doesn't
not?
exist, and it shouldn't. It's dumb.
Secondary question, just throwing it out there. Is there a limit to the number of people that can fit around you to attack you?
It's not. I'm going to attack you with 10 of them if I feel like surrounding you. I'm just going to put it that way.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no hard spaces, so it's more like reason.
Yeah,
Right,
it's not
depending on
like it's not like the 8
They're
of D&D.
they're like
Right.
climbing on top of each other and on the ceiling and stuff. I'm
Right.
just gonna like.
That's how I am at Skaven fight. Yeah, it's as many as can get an arm through to like try to stab. So yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm up there with Linessa. I'm trying to cut a path. I want to get to
Alright.
this portal.
You know their armor. They can take 2 damage apiece. And you can't overkill stuff. So I'll be right back. Just tell me how many die between your turns.
Sure.
I actually don't know their armor. What is their armor?
4.
No, their armor. I believe they're all armor 1. So if you
Armor
do at least
1,
30 damage, you
Defense
kill it.
4. Okay.
Yep. Defense poor. Armor 1. So you need to do 3 damage to bring them down. Basically, is what it comes down to.
Yeah, my weapon does dice plus 2, so
Yeah. If you touch these guys, they explode. So.
I wonder if I'll die if 10 attack me. I feel like I probably will.
I mean, what's your defense at right now?
My defense is good, and I have 2 armor.
They're probably like
Wow.
average. They're probably like average on offense for the clan rats and stuff. I mean, just to guess, right? So they'd be on like 5s to hit you if you're on defense good. And, so like they're probably not rolling that many dice. I don't know what their dice pool looks like. That's really the big question, right? But I mean, let's assume every one of them gets 3 successes. Let's just assume that 10 of them attack you and get 3 successes universally. If that were to be the case, then you would take 10 damage.
Okay, which I can survive, but I can't survive that twice.
You won't have to. I mean, yes, you can if I'm behind you.
Oh, good point. I'm glad that he left because I actually have to decide. I was thinking about just like running up to this portal and just reaching through and grabbing whoever just took that thing and pulling them back out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That'd be a good idea. A shitload of damage in the meantime, but like getting the thing.
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you go that far out, it's going to be hard for me to get to you and heal you. That's going to be the challenge.
Yeah.
Because it's 2 zones away.
the one thing I.
But if I beat him in initiative, I could just run back.
Sure. Yep. Sure. Although all the clan rats are going to drop on you and stab you because they go next.
Oh yeah, I am going to just get it. Well, yeah, that's true. Well, I was the lowest one in that poll, so let's prove Twitter wrong. let's fucking go.
You're muted, Matt.
Matt, you're muted.
Nope, still muted. We can't hear you. I think you hit a button on your headset somewhere when you picked it up. It's like it's registering you, but we can't hear you. It's like green. Nope. 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 Talk again. Nope, it cut out again. It's your cable. It's got to be like something's going freaky with whatever you're. Oh, hold on. Like when you moved it around, we can kind of hear you at some point and then not. Nope.
Can you hear me now?
Yay! Yep. Yes, that's what it was.
That's never worked before.
Well, your headset has one of the auto mutes.
Yeah, auto mute. It's never worked before. Okay.
It does work now.
All right. Anyway, so
hey, what you missed is I got called away to move a fucking cable. So
gotcha.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right.
Anyway, so let's fucking go. I'm doing it. We're getting that orb. I'm moving all the way to
that rock.
I'm moving all the way to the portal, and I'm like reaching through and grabbing the dude who was just like pulling his arms back with the orb and pulling that through.
All right, so you're just like essentially double moving it. Now remember when I said 10 rats could attack somebody? You're huge, so like 20 are going to attack you.
Oh, okay.
They're just
Well, then I might die. But I mean, I said I'd do it. So
I mean, you have way more surface area than anybody in the party.
This is fair. Like
this is like a super
exactly true.
This is like the superhero version of a sumo wrestler. Like you just all right.
Hey,
so
my emotions are flared up. It's time to get the thing.
With reckless abandon, did you meddle and you did all the things?
Yeah, you'd have to burn a medal because it was move and then your action to move in the medal.
Yep. All right. All of them go. So all right. 10.
But he has a big rock.
Oh, he's gonna get the big rock. Oh yeah, he's got the big rock. Like he can feel the big rock in his hand on the other side of the portal and whatever's attached to it. Like he's got a strength competition that he will easily win. Whatever, like it doesn't matter. Like let's try to wrestle that. No, he's just gonna pull whatever's got the rock with. Okay. He might be dead when he gets it to the other side, but he's got it. Okay.
Let's find out.
I mean, we got a soulfire, right?
Yeah. Let's do this.
And
go home.
So like 10 Skaven are gonna try to get through the portal to attack you, Skig. So do I have to roll your opposed check every time, or do you want to set a opposed difficulty for me, and then I just try to beat it a bunch of times?
Yeah, that's fine. I'll set an opposed difficulty, and you try to beat it. Okay.
All right, sounds good.
Okay. 2.
All right. So on 3 dice, they need. One's gonna get through. I need to tally this.
Let me know if he makes it through.
I got you.
Wait, did he get through?
I mean, yeah, one makes it through.
Okay, I hit him in the face.
Yeah, we'll let him figure out how many gets through,
Hang on.
and then you'll have
two are about to make it through.
Mm-hmm.
No. 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 Yes. Yes. No. We're at No. 9. This will be 10. No. All right, 4 make it through.
Cool. Sounds good to me. That's exactly the idea of the prayer. It separates the enemy, so you into more serviceable numbers.
I will hit one.
I'm gonna go ahead and. You have your medal and stuff. You can hit 2. You've been waiting.
Yeah, I was ready for them to come through.
Okay.
So, I'll hit one and then medal and hit another.
Sounds good.
What is their defense? Poor. So I'm needing 3s. I have 3 successes on him, so 4 damage on the first one.
Gone.
And 5 successes, or 5 on the next one with, and he's also stunned. Okay.
And then, like, you've got, like, your back turned and you're just like, and you catch one right up underneath the jaw and he just does a backflip as you spiral him away from Skig. Like, 6 of them, like, hit the force and just, like, slide down, essentially, and 2 of them are actually going to make it to you, Skig. Now, they are much better at attacking than they are at defending. What's your defense?
Exceptional. Or extraordinary, sorry.
Right, because you're dodging. So,
yes.
They're not that good. They still need 6s.
Sure. I would hope so. If regular clan rats are hitting on anything other than 6s against extraordinary, we have some serious challenges on our hands in this fight.
The assassin ones hit you way better, but regular, yeah. So 1 success is turned aside by your armor. 3 fucking successes. Hang on, this is the best clan rat in the world.
Sure.
Seriously,
he gets the damage through.
4 successes.
Oh, 4. Okay.
So it's gonna be 5 because it's damage plus success plus 1.
Okay.
This is the best clan rat in the universe, and 4 were essentially already up on the tubes and stuff. They're gonna drop down and fight Linessa.
Okay.
Or no, Linessa cut her way through. We're gonna say that there were 4 just stragglers to fight Linessa. Linessa, what's your armor or your defense? I know you have no armor.
She has armor.
I have 1 armor. And defense is average. Keep assuming I'm naked. Get your mind out of the gutter.
Okay, so they need 3s. You're going to take 2 damage. So armor will negate 1. You'll take 1 from one of them.
Alright.
You're going to take 2 damage. I'm sensing a trend here. 1 damage is turned aside. Big money, no whammies. 3 damage. I'm sorry, I missed whatever you said.
Yeah, I did.
Sorry. That one hurt.
Good. And you subtracted 1 off of those, right?
Yeah, should be subtracting 1 every time. Alright, now, so like 20 attacks at you. As they all just pile on.
I have good defense.
Alright, so they're looking for 4s.
And I have armor 2.
Let's fucking go! Does someone want to like keep track for me? So I can
sure.
roll.
I mean, how many do they roll? 3 dice? Right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Cool. Yeah, you just tell me every time you roll, and I'll just total up the damage, okay? And then we individually, and then I'll let him take it off. You just tell me the number of successes.
Yep.
Is it? Hold on. Is there damage 1+?
Yes, 1+.
Okay. Then if you just tell me successes, I'll do damage. Just roll it out, and you just spit successes, all right. Total damage. Okay?
1 success.
Okay.
Nothing. 1 success. 2 successes. 1 success. Nada. 2 successes. Nada. 1. 3.
All right, that's 10 so far. I'm counting number of attacks and.
Yeah, I've got. Yep, I got both going.
All skulls, so all 1s. That should be a botch if we were playing.
Vince, you said you had total number as well.
Yep, I got both. Yep,
he's got it. He's rocking it. 1.
Okay.
1. 2. Nada. 1. 1. 2. Nothing.
You have one more.
Nothing.
Okay, let me make absolutely sure. Recount here. Yep, exactly right. You had 20 attacks. I'm going to take your 2 armor off of everything, Joe. I added in the extra 1 plus S to all the damage count here, okay? And then I'm subtracting 2 from everything. So...
That's fucking teamwork, everybody.
Joe, you take 6 damage.
Bigwinter.
Yeah, I mean, the difference there, by the way, between being armor 1 and armor 2 is
so huge.
It's catastrophically different. Like, you're a red stain on the wall if you have an armor of 1, comparatively.
So I basically lift my hands up and I'm like, my bigness is supreme.
You're holding like the one Eshin, like, elite on the other hand of the thing. You can tell, by the way, Skig, this is very similar to the shadow rats that attacked you before.
Yep.
So
he's pulled it out. Is the other guy still
holding it? Yeah,
he's
just like holding on to it, like arms wrapped around it, and
gotcha.
like he's just clinging to it, and just like his surprise is amazing right now. Like the look, the rat just eyes wide, beady little pupil, just.
Sure.
You've never seen a more surprised Skaven in the history of Skaven, and you know a thing or two about surprised Skaven.
Awesome. Okay. Good round.
Phase 1 complete. Phase 2 needs to work as well. So.
Yep.
I want you to know that this is a little bit like Iwo Jima, except you are the hill. And your arm is the flag, and then it's just all the rats are just surrounding you and climbing up.
And I'm incensed by this orb that's super close to
my
face.
You're like I'm gonna say that holding onto it directly is gonna give you +1 damage to all your.
You might want to tell him what the stats are for that weapon, because he's gonna start swinging that stone.
Just beating people with the rock.
Oh no, I'm just simply like eating this rat on my way back. Like
sure.
Yeah, all right.
Okay.
All right.
That brings us to new and ish.
All right.
So this is where Chuck Dave's mass combat rules would have totally screwed you, and I hate mass combat rules because they like.
As do I. Nah, it's more fun. We can handle 40 people.
Just roll it. Yeah.
Roll it out.
Yep.
I'll take it.
40k is awesome. Just roll the dice. All right, continue. Or not 40k. Age of Sigmar.
Yes, there you go. Fyrgrim. What's 40k? Fyrgrim.
10.
Linessa.
5.
And Bigwinter?
7.
See, I thought 40 rats was too many. It turns out it's too few.
So there's still.
So
if you want. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Tom.
So I got a question real quick. I need like an assessment of the battlefield. Is there there's a forge here, right?
Yes. Yeah. There's there's this center column that's made up of like tombs and stuff like that. That's a hearth. I called it a hearth, but I meant like a boiler, where it's like a center sort of fuselage. It's a metal, and the stone is sitting in the middle of it, and then there's all these tubes coming out of it into the going out into the 11 chambers. But then you got this.
Is it hot?
Yes, but like most of the heat has been diminished by the fact that Bigwinter is holding the source of the heat.
Huh. So so there's no open flame.
No, there never has been. It's always been this crystal.
Okay.
And they don't give rules on these crystals. They just talk about the section of realm stones.
Yeah.
And I'd imagine it maybe burns and stuff, but like you're also empowered by holding something this huge, and he's got the Everwinter on his side. So I'm just gonna. He's just really mad right now.
Sure,
makes sense.
He's actually
Super
going
pissed.
to do bite attacks and shit. Like, he's gonna go full Wolverine in here. Like,
I'm down with it.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So they're all on him in the middle of the whole place, right? Like he has a dog pile on him.
Yes, they're swarming him. This is like a swarm of army ants, right? Like they're just like climbing up on top of each other, and he's just like, grrr, and he's like holding it aloft, and he's got this like one Eshin, like pure Eshin shadow rat, like clinging to it that he's holding aloft, and they're just like up to his like chest. There are 14 stragglers, essentially, 4 of them on Linessa that were trying to stop her from supporting him. So she's kind of in this gap between where he burned all of his abilities to, like, he's essentially on the portal, just outside of. And then you've got this sort of smaller, they're completely broken away from the main pack, these 10 other rats. What is it? 4 of them, 2 of them on the inside with you, and then 6 of them didn't pass the barrier. And Fyrgrim handled a few of them already, or a couple of them.
Okay.
Already.
Yep, sounds good. So we got 6 out there, 2 in here with us, 8 plus the 4, 12, and then the 20 in there. Yep, that's all 32 left. Okay, got it. All right, rock and roll.
My count was 34, but like 2 like exploded.
He killed 2.
Oh, I missed those 2. Yeah.
Yep.
I did not.
I had to move a table. Come on.
You're all good, buddy.
All right.
It's all good, man. No, I'm just very good at counting dead Skaven. It's a natural skill of my people. Okay. So I shout, rally to Bigwinter, and then like we all like go to him because that's what I'm doing. Okay. So I am going to I'm gonna move into his zone. So I'll have to spend my that in the action, or I'll have to move over there. Okay. And actually, I'm gonna do a reaction because that's the easier way to set this up. Like we're all before them. I'm trying to get everybody piled in the middle. So my reaction is I say rally to Bigwinter. My reaction is when the 2 of them go in his zone, I take my turn.
So the other 2 get into. Oh, I like this.
Okay. So you 2 need to go to his zone. All right.
Rally to Bigwinter.
Yes, and then I point, and all this is kind of happening in seconds. So okay, there we go. So,
Okay.
Got it. All right, Fyrgrim.
What are we trying to do? Let me ask that.
Save Bigwinter's life. This isn't really a time for conversation. I shout a thing. There's rats stabbing us to death. What are you talking about?
I'm trying to figure out what solutions we have. So
go to Bigwinter and start swinging your hammer.
What light sources are there in the room?
What light sources? There's kind of none, because the only one is Bigwinter holding aloft the ogre fist. As by the way, it's slightly bigger than your fist. This is like the Final Fantasy like crystal. It's like elongated and stuff, and you've like your knuckles are wrapped around it, and the peaks are on either side. It would be a proper hilt for a spear, and you're holding it aloft, and that is the only light source in the entire room, as if to suggest something.
That's the rally point you should go to. I mean, unless you all want to die, that's fine. If you'd like to all just get murdered, super cool. Keep fucking around.
I'm pretty confident they can't kill Fyrgrim if he doesn't want them to.
Okay, so I'm going to
get hurt, but I don't think they can actually kill him.
Okay, I'm going to do it this way. So I'm going to fire off incandescent form.
Okay.
As I move into the zone.
Okay.
Which is going to turn me into molten lava.
Right.
My skin. Fuck yes. So we have 5 successes. And 2 are critical, are 6s. So we have 5 successes on this. Which means I turn into lava. Like it says, my body turns into incandescent molten rock, right?
Yeah, you're lava.
Blinding. Well, I'm lava.
Liquid
Awesome.
hot magma. Got it.
I'm in the zone now, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're not in his
Okay.
zone. You're in a zone with me.
No.
You're 2 zones away from
No,
me.
like
You move.
Oh.
There's still ambient Skaven you can kill along the way because there were that.
Oh no,
Gate
like the
behind.
concentration is in his zone, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. He is.
Okay.
Zone 1 has
Okay.
now become Bigwinter. That is
Okay.
Zone 1.
No, that's fine. So
And the whole room
in
is
every,
measured based on him right now. The whole room
and you
is.
move a zone, and you move a zone every time you do an action, right?
Yes.
You're moving.
Okay, awesome. So I moved one zone towards him and cast incandescent form. Okay.
Right.
Then I move into I metal and move into his zone as my last action.
Cool.
And then I fire off a rune of self-immolation. And I stoke flames, which allows me to turn even a candle into a zone-wide hazard of fire.
I feel like you're one move shy, though, right?
Do you have another metal to burn?
You have
If you have
another
2
metal
metal.
to burn?
I mean, yes, I have another metal burn.
Okay, yeah, burn it, then we're good. All right, cool.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll do that.
See,
You can tell Tom getting excited because I can now hear him from the other room. It's like,
I
Yes.
love that he's like, so there's a light source, and the light source is the Akshi Realm Stone, like burning.
Well, yeah, I didn't want to like melt him, and so rather
you're gonna
I'll become the fire.
Okay, you're gonna become the fire.
I will become fire through the molten, and then I will ignite myself
Okay,
and turn myself into a zone-wide hazard.
So are you immune to? Are you immune to your own
Probably
action?
not.
Okay, I think you're gonna take
Probably
some damage
not.
from this. Okay, this is metal
Sure,
health.
cool.
All right, cool.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
so I go from not only glowing and my skin being lava, but me literally like pouring out flame, I guess, or being so hot that I become a hazard in the zone.
You do the Johnny Storm Nova thing, right? Where he like essentially detonates himself, and then he loses his powers. He loses his powers for like a huge arc of the comic because he does this. So go, yeah. I like this. Do it.
Well, that's what I just did. I don't know what hazards do or how they work, but that just happened in that zone. So
let me check the rules section of the book for what I have.
I don't want the rules. I don't want to get the. I don't want to the rules section.
I'm glad I'm not in that zone right now.
why don't you read the spell exactly? Which spell did you cast?
So Stoke Flames just says you can cast a spell. You can empower an existing fire to grow in intensity or snuff it out entirely. You can cause something as small as a candle to erupt, fill an entire zone, creating a minor hazard, or smother a dangerous inferno. If there's an existing fire creating a hazard, you can increase it intensity by 1 step, so minor can go to major, etc. So a candle is not, much like the fire, is not a hazard, right? But it can be increased to a minor hazard for the zone. So I'm going to do that.
So, I mean, hazards like do things, and it's essentially terrain effects. But I want to make this.
Does it do damage?
I want to make this active. Like, if it would do damage if you move into the zone, it does it right now because you just detonated yourself, and that's what I'm going for. Or in terms
I'll
of,
let you make that call. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to fucking burn every rat I can, even if for only 1 damage, to fucking cause a flurry of panic. That's exactly what I'm trying to do.
Everyone on Vince's YouTube is mad at us right now because you just said fucking like 4 times in a row.
You're dropping a lot. You're really going language here.
It's 1:45
with the mic you're shouting into.
It's 1:45 in the morning, so that's what's happening. I'm burning everything.
I love it.
All right. I looked up hazards. If anyone else hasn't yet.
Yeah. Did you get there?
So, a minor hazard causes small wounds or discomfort. These are like a small fire or thorny branches. When a creature enters a hazard for the first time or starts its turn there, it takes 1 damage.
That's all I needed to do.
Major hazard. This is a minor hazard, right?
He's not a candle, which is what a candle would have been. So he's got to be the next step up from that minor, I think.
So yeah, a minor hazard is a small fire.
Yep.
A major hazard is poisonous spores or the bone shard hail or of Shyish. Oh, typo. It says or Shyish, probably means of Shyish. That one's 3 damage, and then there's deadly hazard, which is like.
No, it's probably just a minor hazard. Like again,
pool.
my body is simply giving off enough heat to like singe things are in the zone. I'm guessing.
Okay, so minor, yeah.
Yeah, I can't imagine it's more than a minor hazard.
All right, in which case
Because-
that's 1 damage, and
Yeah, that's fine.
I
So it would fire off 1 now and then 1 when they activate. Does that sound right?
So
Yeah.
So my feeling is you fire off 1 now, you're going to take
Okay.
a wound, a direct
That's fine.
wound from
Cool.
burning yourself into the hazard.
Cool.
Okay. And
Uh,
you will.
Done.
I feel like that's the most because you became the center of it. So they all take a damage.
Cool.
Okay. Cool.
Burn, baby, burn.
Okay. Linessa.
Well, I will now move into Bigwinter zone.
Thank you.
You burned one.
This is true.
Yep.
It's
You
okay.
take 1 damage.
Wait, there's a reaction happening now.
Mm-hmm. All right, when you move into the, I mean, you can do your turn or whatever. Like my reaction's happening, but it's going to happen simultaneously. So just go ahead.
Is it possible for me to leap and try and stab the only elite in the room that's hanging on to the Emberstone?
It's the same zone.
Athletics check or something like that.
As part of your attack action, I'm gonna say you can athletics to like get to it rather than this pile of stuff. I'm gonna do the opposite of the charge in this case. You're gonna lose a die to your damage pool, but you can do it.
Okay. So it's athletics first.
Athletics first. If you succeed on a 4.
3 successes.
Cool. You do it and you don't lose your die on account of 3 successes.
Okay. And what would his
He has
rating be?
He has great defense.
Ooh. Good thing I have Blood Frenzy. 3 successes.
Cool. All right. He takes some damage.
And I'll wait to do my Kraith roll after the reaction.
Okay, that's fine. My reaction. Yeah, sure. So I move and then spend my action to move. So now I'm in the zone with Bigwinter. Okay, and all of us, like we're all together. I will burn, so I take 1 damage. Okay, because we're all in the heat.
You take this and armor doesn't give a fuck. You just take the damage.
Yep, I got it. Absolutely. And then I will hold the holy symbol aloft and light it up all the way. Emotions are running hot, and so is faith, right? I'm just like, and we're gonna go ahead and use some healing here. So we're gonna drop a little healing spirit. I will metal, to do this. Okay. So I metal to summon the healing spirit and heal everybody for 6. So everybody heals 6 in the zone. Okay. Which should heal all of Bigwinter. It should put us all back at full, I believe.
Yeah, back to full.
Okay.
I love that you can specify your allies too. Healing
Yes,
feels OP in this game.
Well, if you're a devoted, it's very hard with everybody else.
It's just great. That's all.
Yeah.
If you're a faithful of Sigmar, it's quite powerful. If
Yeah.
you're some bunk wizard trying to heal from something else, well, sorry about your luck. Okay. In which case, then my reaction is finished. And so please continue.
Kraith, or metal, or use.
Or yeah, you still have a metal back too. So.
Let me use the metal then, and go after the Eshin again. Same thing, I assume. Athletics followed by.
No, you already did the lead.
Just there.
You're in there. You're atop the Iwo Jima pile of
Basically fighting on top of my arm.
Yeah, you're on and then Bigwinter manages to throw you a high five, and then you're hanging on to the high. So he's got the one hand aloft, and he's stabilizing you over here on his shoulder. He's like, "Girl, I am the biggest, so deal with it."
So huge.
Yeah. So you're already he's, and he's drowning in Skaven, but
That'll be 5 successes this time.
ooh, Okay. You exact sees him, which means it's like the pinpoint, like the 2 daggers, and like you measure up the kidneys and just pow.
Nice. All right, now do Kraith, because there's still more Skaven. Let's be honest.
Kraith.
Many more.
Kraith! Do you got the
Punch my
6?
vent. Yeah, I got it.
He punched his vent. Yeah.
I'll split my attacks between, I guess, 2 different Skaven.
They die. Don't roll. They're dead.
No, you always roll your Kraith die.
Yes.
Now they're dead. All right, we're good.
Okay.
And it got put-
all right. So, we're down to 30, and you need to know that was a +1, right, everybody? That wasn't. Whose go is it now?
Okay, that is that. We have all now completed our action. We all stand in the middle of the room, bulwarked on this hill of Skaven. It is their turn.
They all take 1 damage. Oh,
I still need to go.
okay.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, Bigwinter. I apologize, Bigwinter. I'm sorry.
Man, the stone's near me. My emotions are flaring. There's like 20. Well, I suppose fewer rats now.
30 exactly.
I'm just eating them. I'm just like grabbing them and bite attacking and just like eating them. I don't know.
I'm just gonna go ahead and say you just like grab 3 rats in your pit and just like.
Well, I only have 1 medal, so 2 rats. But yeah,
I'm gonna say 3. You managed to. You get 3. You get 3 rats.
all right, fair enough.
Okay.
Everybody in the party roll a determination. No, continue. As you just watch an ogre live feed live rats into his gullet.
Look, I haven't eaten all day. The stone emotions. I know that hunger probably technically isn't an emotion. I guess it's like a philosophical question, but for an ogre, I feel like it is. So
This all checks out for me. I'm on the page.
Yeah.
Not gonna-
Now it is their go. So yes, there are 27 left.
Okay. So
I began my turn in the zone, so I take a damage. Yeah.
Okay. So they've all taken a damage. They take the
Yes.
2nd damage.
Yep.
That's it.
Whoosh. They all just burn up.
Yeah,
Yes.
they burn up. Yeah, that's it.
So
Yeah, they're just like, Gah! They're just like screaming and on fire and just like kind of melt away from your body. And he's still just like grabbing them like popcorn chicken at this point and throwing them into his
they're
face.
cooked now. I should have waited.
And he's just like, and
Is
he's
the
like,
portal
and
still open?
he's directly holding this stone and just scooping them up by the handful and like shoving them into his face and just. I'll let the
At least
party.
they're cooked.
Is the portal still open?
Oh, it's gone.
Sure,
Aw.
it like close on their turn. What do the other 12 do? Who aren't? Because there are 12 that didn't burn up.
Yeah, they're outside the zone. The 12 outside the zone.
Right, they haven't burned at all, but they see all their friends emulating as we're in the middle of this
I'd
fire.
imagine they scattered after like he just shoved the first dude into his mouth.
Sure.
I'm
I
like,
mean,
That
they
seems
saw,
reasonable.
like 20 of them light on fire and get eaten.
yeah,
but
like they were currently burning and like some were
Skaven
being eaten.
greatest bravery exactly. Their hero just died. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd imagine 12 get to like retreat back to like. I mean, you can't kill them all like you did with the cultists in Adventure 1. You can't. You just physically can't catch them all. They scatter.
Yeah.
So they just like they really do just peace out. There's 11 tunnels. They're gonna burrow.
Makes
Yep.
sense.
That's fine.
Yeah, so 12 just like peace out.
Cool. I'm sure we catch 1 or 2 in our anger, but for the most part, the rest of them get out.
When I calm down a little bit, I put my hand on Fyrgrim's shoulder, and that's some good cooking.
Nice.
I thought you were the one who makes our warm meals.
Solve that
Bigwinter.
rat problem.
Hey.
Yay! I did you didn't see the rim shot, but I did the rim shot gesture.
Sure.
All right.
Yeah, these
Wow.
are the heroes, by the way, for those at home.
I'm not going to get we're already living in the weird and silly and fun part of Age of Sigmar. I don't want to bog it down with like lameness, like moral cannibalism.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's fine. I don't think an ogre eating Skaven is anything not in line with the Age of Sigmar universe. I don't think morality comes into this in any way, shape, or form. Okay. Well, shall we take this rock and go?
Yeah, no, you got the rock, dude. So
Yeah, we got the thing.
you're heading.
Welcome if you got him.
It has become it had over the course of combat. You've been fighting and heightened aware census, or what is it called? A proactive state. It happens. The people who have
Peter Natch.
yeah, people who have like night terrors like I do, like you get into a hyper defense state. This happens. Hyper aware, and that happened over the course of combat. But like you've been in the moment, so you had to deal with what was before you, and that churning that happened here has since echoed out from here. You can feel the earth around you. The Skaven, yeah, they went for the stone and so on and so forth, but they've been trying to sabotage the mechanisms for a while before that while you were exploring the previous
Oh, we need
chamber.
to peace out, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, we go. As we hear the rumbling of the tunnel collapsing, and we make our
Peace out.
We all get behind Bigwinter to push hard.
Oh, he's a freaking like fullback, just smashing through stuff, and he's like still like holding that one barbecue Skaven on a stick. Oh, nice. And he keeps pushing through. He widens the chamber and he explodes out from in front of the fountain. You all are landing there, and you see this, as best I can describe it, demon-faced Caradhran ship floating above the island, cutting swaths into the village with these coalescing purple and black beams.
Oh.
And the island is sort of rumbling, as almost collapsing inward. And Skig, you're familiar, and if anyone in the party was like a Gloomspike Gitz, you'd be familiar with this technique. But Skig, you certainly are, of like essentially warp-gnawing the infrastructure of the island into itself.
Sure.
And the island itself is beginning to sort of like collapse in on itself, and the people have gathered around the fountain where you told them to put all their belongings, and the whole thing is being cut up with these void beams from this demon-faced black ship floating in the sky.
Okay. It's time to go. Let's go, everyone.
Did you say that Caradhran, or that it's Caradhran-like?
Caradhran-like, but once more you're reminded of the blueprints down below, where somebody has essentially stumbled upon these technologies. They've parsed them together, and it is a great dreadnought of a floating ship in the sky, with this demon-faced sort of like bulk at the front, and the black sort of like iconography and drifting backwards into this sort of great, robust, thick ship with actual masts and like these juts coming off of it, and you can see this burning plume of void energy coming off of the spiraling ring at the back of it, like a literal Stargate and shit. Like spiraling behind it. Standing at the front is somebody you immediately recognize, Fyrgrim, from your visions. And collected all upon the deck are all manner of species, races, and such. You see orcs and goblins surrounding him. You actually see all four of the demons represented. You see human, elf, and dwarf. All on the boat, all amongst him. And anyone who's familiar with any sort of like myth or lore of the mortal realms. The only one who's ever done anything even remotely close to this is kind of no one. But like having the four gods together was like an Archeon thing. And he stands aboard his ship, well out of reach of any range of spell that you know, or any axe you could throw, or bird you could send out. And he looms down and he looks over, his voice booming, almost possessed by realm energy. And he locks eyes with you. Unfortunate. You have interrupted my experiment. You know, I was curious what powers could stand against me. Curiouser still that such unworthy would. And he looks down and there's people like scattering about the village and things are burning and stuff. Almost anticlimactic, you might say, to die in the searing sea. Perhaps fitting that you'd step against the tide, trying to change the course of the realms. He leans back away from the banister of his ship. Ooh, the party is silent.
Oh no,
You're on the
we were
list.
just,
Wait for you.
He was giving.
we were just letting you go. Yeah, we wanted to make sure you weren't.
Oh, I could have kept going forever. I was
No,
in the
it's fine.
zone for that character.
Sure.
You're on the list.
Yeah, I was thinking Nihilus is a classic Chaos Lord. He has a flair for the dramatic.
No. What is distinctly lacking is himself empowered or embodied by chaos. He's got chaos under his reign, but he himself doesn't seem to. There is no four-headed beast god mount he is riding. There is no deformations of his skin or soul or anything. You see a being in armor of his own design in control of everything around him atop this ship that he has made.
Sure. Well, being that he's too far away to yell back at, because he was using like magical booming technology to speak to us, so even if we yell at him,
I gave you booming voice technology early.
I know. Yes.
Okay.
I know. So like we can't talk to him normally. So instead, I will hold up the holy symbol of Sigmar against the ship.
Augury or what's the
Thaumaturgy.
Thaumaturgy.
Yes.
I gave you Thaumaturgy for free.
Yeah, we'll get there. Don't worry. I was getting there. I was saying our normal voices can't respond to him.
Oh.
I didn't say no one could. Okay. And so I will hold up my holy symbol, and I will fuel it with the power of Sigmar. And in response to a god-empowered voice, I will shout back with the thunder god there behind me, which sounds weird when Skig shouts loud because I imagine it being two-tone, like Skig's voice, and then there's an under bass of Sigmar's voice, you know?
Oh, yeah.
It's not as there's a
he's rocking the digital delay, right?
There's a dissonance to it. Yes, exactly, right. And he says, Aaron Skig says, Sigmar will stand against you. We, the righteous, will stand against you. And this menagerie you've created will fall. And then I'll turn to the rest of the people and say, it is time for us to go. And I'll start leaving out from this ship's firing arc toward the edge of the island.
Can we go round robin?
Sure. Well, I can't thaumaturgy you, but you can yell whatever you want.
I can yell I'll try to yell really loud, I guess.
You're gonna bellow?
I think you attempt to bellow this as an athletics check because you have to really project from the diaphragm and stuff. This is a breathing technique. Yeah, like if you were a sumo, you got to get your breath under you, right?
Yeah. I got 2 successes.
I will say he hears some of what you say, but I want the speech anyway.
All right. I say to him, "You need stronger minions, chosen of himself."
He's like, you can see his shoulders like hefting and moving as he's like clearly laughing. And he puts a hand up and he just, boom, he leans back up on the banister. Perhaps. But even if you make it out, you'll find you'll never, ever do anything of consequence to deal with what I have put in motion. What has taken me years. And he like leans away.
Put my fist in the air. Winter is coming.
So Skig's kind of begun to like gather these
Yes.
these folks and stuff like that, and
I mean, part of Skig's goal here is to do the only thing he thinks is reasonable against this guy, which is ignore him. So, like, Skig is
safe. Yeah, exactly.
Is like focusing on the people and using his voice to draw them.
Cool. Yeah. So these like crazy like beams of energy, and it's now become apparent to you, Skig, who's kind of like caught the like scent of like the warp a few times, and you've been the most. Everyone knows about chaos in the mortal realms. Come on, like they're dominating the mortal realms. What has become more poignant or obvious to you is that it's not so much like that like chaos is taking over as chaos has been controlled in these moments. And it puts this pit sort of deep behind the sternum in you to think that somebody has like, even the stories of Archeon is he's like all about being Chaos's chosen and using Chaos and stuff like that. If somebody out there is like rejecting Chaos and still like somehow like getting it to fall in their line, like there's a pit there straight to your soul, your core. And these beams continue to fire off, and the sort of like Skaven infrastructure strikes. The island begins to collapse inward, and you're moving everyone to the outskirts. And Skig, you specifically like recognize held aloft on his on his throne of like Skaven or of rat ogres. You see Kizit like behind Nihilus.
Gotcha.
And he like, and you can't hear their conversation, but he turns to him, and you see like Kizit like just like nod, and then like look to the island, and more of it begins to just almost begin to shrink now, not just collapsing, but shrink on itself. It is at this point that you see explosions bombarding on the flank of this demon-headed ship. And everybody reacting on deck. A orc leaps onto the back of a maw crusher and like takes to the skies and heads off in this direction from whence the explosions come. And then you see this purple vessel careening down out the air with a familiar sail, and standing at the front of it, his coat on his shoulders, his arms not in it, just billowing behind him like a cape, like pointing and gesturing as the Devil Kashmir seems to be taken to the air.
Sure.
And those cannons, which looked mostly mundane, are lobbing energy blasts of scintillating colors.
Great timing.
Despite the impressiveness, I would like to try and if I lock eyes with Avender, I'd like to once again just move my whole body in a way so he knows I'm rolling my eyes as hard as possible.
Yeah, your whole body rolls its eyes.
Yeah, this is a full
Yeah.
And he's
body
pointing,
roll.
and you see behind him Jerky actually piloting, by the way. Like, he's just
Sure.
pointing. Like, he's not the one actually doing the impressive stuff. He's pointing the whole time. You manage to crowd the vast majority of the village onto the Devil Cashmere. And with the cover, this is not... It becomes pretty apparent that the fire from the ship isn't, like, as damaging as it appears, almost as if it's inflated and, I don't know, over the top and ostentatious, and it's more, look, but by the time Nihilus's crew realizes they haven't taken nearly as much damage as they thought, it's too late. The party and most of the village has, like, piled on the ship, and the Devil Cashmere has taken off. There is a blip in the horizon of a silhouette of, like, a maw crusher or something. And
Claw crusher or something, yeah.
and Avender walks over to you specifically, Linessa, and he says, "They wanted you to have this," and he hands you a Hydra skin cloak.
I clutch the Emberstone I grabbed and get as angry as possible while holding it. Doing my best to hold it in as well. I want to remember this feeling of anger.
It becomes obvious very quickly that the Devil Cashmere takes a bunch of counterfire and is essentially going down as we play the credits on this adventure.
Okay. So, like, is it keeping pace? So, like, hold on. I want to understand what's happening here. So we load everybody up. We're all on. Does it take off into the air?
He essentially flies off. He's been on, like, a sort of a descent the whole time. And the party, like, you load up and he tries to ascend, but then you smash into the water and then, like...
Okay.
And it's very obvious that illusory magic seems to be the Devil Cashmere's specialty.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what throws, like, the blasts and the stuff like that, where it seemed like everything was burning on the deck. Like, you see, they thought it was for a while, but then it just isn't. Like, their ship, but by the time their ship comes about, like, they're chasing a literal illusion, and it's probably assumed that the ship you're on had went invisible, and you're in the ocean and, like, bobbing about in the normal ship pace.
Okay. So we're sailing, and it's not keeping pace with us at the moment. Like, we're out of the air. The Dreadnought and the Maw Crusher went off chasing a Figment, right?
Yes.
And we're now sailing basically free of them. Like, we don't see them in the horizon.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
Okay, all right.
Now I'm up to speed.
Yep.
Okay. Awesome. All right. Good times.
Sweet.
Yep.
But your boy, Avender Rail.
It's a nice cloak.
To be continued.
Yeah.
Indeed.